From your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Good offense again. To worry about those rally. Mario hits it back in. Dewey able to find Mbappe. To traffic. 2021 top goals. Gives Spreitzer the lead in the quarterfinal.
You know, we spent a lot of time talking about football around. Cardinals camp is less than 2 weeks away. The NFL owns Sundays. College football is right around the corner. But for the last month, the biggest sports story in America hasn't been football. It's been soccer. And I never thought I'd say this, but think about what just happened. Team USA made a run that grabbed the country's attention. Millions of people couldn't tell you what the offside rule was. Sports bars were packed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon during the week. Offices have the games on. We're at Wright Toyota right now. We got the Brazil,
Spain, Belgium.
Spain, Belgium 1-1, I believe. Last time I looked. Kids are wearing jerseys. People are planning their day around the kickoff. Then we lose to Belgium. And somehow more people watched the loss than almost anything else on television this year. That's the part that fascinates me. Usually when America loses interest, the ratings disappear. Not here. The ratings actually exploded. That's what tells me that this is just patriotic viewing. People actually got invested. Now, does that mean soccer has passed baseball? No. Does it mean that it's catching football? Absolutely not. But if you still think soccer is just a niche sport in this country, you're living about 10 years in the past. The other thing is, this tournament reminded me, sports isn't just played on the field anymore. It's the television, it's the streaming, it's the sports betting, it's the bars, it's the watch party, it's the sponsorship, and it's the tourism. It's billions and billions of dollars that are changing hands because somebody kicked a soccer ball in a net. That's why today we're going to spend some time following the money, because baseball might be headed toward another labor fight. The NFL just unveiled their professional flag football stadium. The PGA Tour has some television momentum again. Private equity, we talk about it every day on the show, keeps buying sports teams, and somehow teams are making money selling tickets to watch games they're not even playing in. Sports has been and will always be a giant business. If you don't understand where the money's moving, you're missing half the story. We got a loaded show today. We got Howard Balzer. We got Mike Yam. We got Jerry Hairston Jr. We got John Skelton. We got Scott Spreitzer from Vegas. We'll take you around the world, inside the Cards camp, around Major League Baseball. And yes, we will get into some off-the-wall stuff as well, things that you maybe not see on everyday website. Like if you're just Manuch, you just go to ESPN.com.
I go to several.
I'm going to go to sites that you've never even heard
Probably
of.
Right.
And I'll bring that up. So buck up. Manuch, let's just do a radio show.
All right. You know, it's interesting you bring up sports. Not only you talk about the money, Roc, but I talk sometimes about the healing of sports, the getting away from your job, getting away from your problems, life's problems. It's just such an outlet for so many people that can't play it or did play it at one time. I mean, there's a lot of soccer people that have played in the past. My daughter, for one, she played in college. She's coached at high school level. I mean, in Denver, it's big no matter what, but it seems like more and more people, talk about a niche sport, are involved. We got the Phoenix Rising here in town now. You got MLS expanding to certain areas around the nation. So you got the soccer that's not so much in the top four, but it's in the mix for a lot of people in late spring and in the summer that are really starting to grow with that sport. Now, when I watch a USA team, it's like, okay, I know we're on the underdog. I know we don't have a snowball's chance in hell to get into the Final Four, the Final Eight, whatever. But if they give them some hope that you can make it to the knockout round, for a lot of people, that's hope. That's like, hey, USA is going to be playing a team that's the 9th-ranked team in the world in Belgium. What can this team do? Just maybe we can see another 1980 miracle on ice when the USA team beat the Russians, eventually beats Finland for the gold medal back in 1980, back in Lake Placid. I mean, maybe there's that. But I think as Americans, we always have hope that some of our teams that are underdogs are not quite as established, like the European soccer leagues, just might be able to go ahead and upset somebody. And I think that's the hope that we always have. every 4 years for the World Cup, us being an underdog. And I don't know if we'll ever catch up with the Euros with that, but someday, Rock, maybe someday, with the way we saw the success and moving forward, that we might see soccer be on the same level, on par with what they're doing over in Europe. May not ever see it, but hey, if they get into the knockout round, there's always hope. Hope springs eternal for so many, novice soccer fans and for those soccer fans. I think everybody that I know becomes a fan, whether you're football, baseball, of the USA team, to see them advance. And so I think that for sports in general, the healing, the backing of our USA team, you talk about patriotism, I think it's part of that, and just going, hey, look, let me see where we are, either how far we've come or how far we are behind when you look at the USA soccer team.
I wonder if we can figure out a way for the Phoenix Rising to step up their game in the marketplace. I think they do a really nice job. They got some really good people over there, but they're playing in an area that I know it fits some of their demographic, but it's not the ideal location there on Washington.
Sure.
They need a better facility. I think if they could get another facility, they can draw. If you remember the market years ago when we didn't have Major League Baseball, we didn't have hockey. We only had the Cardinals and we had the Suns in the early 90s, but we had a AAA baseball team, which is essentially what the Phoenix Rising is, the Phoenix Firebirds, and it drew well. They would get a few thousand people on a Tuesday night, but then on a weekend you could get 75 to 10, which was the capacity. It was about 10,000, so they drew. And if it's associated with a team like it was with the San Francisco Giants, and somehow the Phoenix Rising could be, if they could come up with a system where the Phoenix Rising is it's the AAA team of the Charlotte MLS team,
I get you.
or whatever. Right. I think that could be a benefit. I think that could spread the word. But they need a better facility for people to go in person, enjoy the fandom of it. Because if you've not been to a soccer match, which I would say 90% of you have not, I've been fortunate. I saw Real Madrid and Napoli in Italy. That was a different atmosphere, of course. And then I've seen some of the ones that have been at the University of Phoenix.
No, that was big boy ball where you were at Napoli.
Yeah, but it was big boy ball when they came to State Farm. So, but a lot of people have not seen that. Once you get there, you bring your kids, you get the itch, because we all know most kids play, right?
Right, and I think that it's an atmosphere like no other. Matter of fact, you looked at down in Mexico City. You looked at that game. That was some of the things that that you looked at from that standpoint, was that you saw more and more people. Every team that goes down there plays Mexico City at Azteca Stadium. So there's nothing like it. And I think they have close to 85 to 100,000 people that it's nonstop cheering. It's nonstop. It's like they don't stop the cheering or the music per se while they're playing. They just keep it going and keep it constant. And that's one of the things. I've never been to a pro soccer game. I've been to many high school games. And that's about as high as I've seen. I've watched a few of them as far as World Cup and several others, but I've never experienced that, Rock, what you talked about, the atmosphere, the excitement, the enthusiasm, the constant that people's lives, much like football here in the States, people's lives revolve around their soccer team over in Europe or their soccer team that represents their country. So those are some of the things that I think a lot of people look at when you're over there. But yeah, my son's been to several, my daughter's been to several. They said the atmosphere, you talk about everybody dressing up. Everybody, whether you're a fan or not, puts the home team jerseys on. They bring the swag. They bring the vuvuzelas, whatever they are, those big long horns.
Well, a lot of places don't allow that anymore. But
is that right? Well, they used to have the big long horn. But I think those are some of the things that you capture during the World Cup. And I think, to your point, they can continue to capitalize on that. More stadiums, more people, and then hopefully from the World Cup side, our states, our USA teams will be more beneficial, can go deeper as the years go on.
All right, we're going to get to our replay rewind as the Diamondbacks salvaged the series in San Diego. Trey McBride says the Cards low-balled him, or low-balled him in some sense, as we get into that before his record-setting deal. So we'll get into that. France is back in the World Cup. Conor McGregor talking some trash. You'll hear that as well. It's Roc and Manuch just getting started out here at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota in Scottsdale.
The biggest soccer tournament on the planet is going on, and there's no better place to catch every match than Twin Peaks. Watch all the action on wall-to-wall TVs with ice-cold 29-degree draft beer, made from scratch food, and game day specials all tournament long. Twin Peaks is going unmatched for every match through July 19th. Cheer on Team USA or your favorite country at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. $5 locations.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat. Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Your everyday choices can help shape your future. Choosing healthy meals rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins, along with consistent exercise, can help reduce your risk of dementia. Even small changes, like a short walk a few times a week or eating less processed foods, can make a difference. Eat smart, move more, protect your mind. Visit alz.org/healthy habits to learn more. This message is sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association and the Arizona Department of Health Services.
It's time for our replay rewind. Top sounds of the night and whatever Rock decides to add. Let's get to it in replay rewind with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
All right, hope you have a good Friday afternoon. Roc and Manuch with you till 4 o'clock. We'll catch up. Who are we catching up with this hour?
Jerry Hairston Jr., LA Dodgers Sports Spectrum pregame and postgame analyst for the Dodgers.
Baseball with the Dodgers, which are just running away with it. All right, we'll start with the D-backs. A wild pitch in the fourth inning. D-backs finally caught a break, and the Padres' wild pitch allowed Max Kepler to race home and tie the game at 1.
And the pitch to Arenado. Oh, my goodness. It's over the head of Arenado. It goes to the backstop. Kepler's going to score. Lourdes gets to second, and the D-backs have tied it at 1.
Then Arizona kept the pressure on an inning later, and Perdomo came through with an RBI single to put the D-backs in front for good.
Here comes the 2-1. And Perdomo swings, grounds it up the middle, and he comes through. That's a base hit into center. Troy will round third and score, and Perdomo's given the Diamondbacks a 2-1 lead.
And then Arenado delivered the knockout punch, launched his 11th home run of the season to give Arizona some breathing room as they win 3-1.
We're in the 6th inning of the 4th game of this series finale. The 1-2 pitch. Nolan swings, hits it out towards deep left field. Sheets going back. He is looking up. This is gone. Another home run for Arenado in Petco Park. It's his 11th home run of the season, and some huge insurance for the Diamondbacks as it's now 3-1.
Yeah, you drop Arenado down to the 7 hole for this Diamondback team. That was one of the things I think that Troy Lovullo wanted to talk about a little bit, was just getting some more power, getting some more productivity out of that bottom half. In the last 2 days, he's dropped down there, been fairly productive, even though they lost yesterday, 12-4, or 2 days ago, 12-4. But nice to see him starting to hit the deep ball. He's been hitting the ball hard, but nice to see it going out the yard. And, you watch this team, and as far as consistency, Perdomo had the day off 2 days ago, comes back with a nice, fresh legs, gets the 2 hits and produces. But I will say this, Merrill Kelly, after the Machado home run there in the second inning, he settled down and that's one of the better baseball games I've seen Merrill Kelly throw since probably before the All-Star break last year. I mean, he was hot. He was on. Obviously, he got traded to the Rangers. But, I mean, keeping the ball down, 7 innings, 94 pitches, effective. But he had these guys swinging at a lot of balls for called third strikes or for ground outs. But I will say this, a very good team effort to split with the San Diego Padres team.
All right, and then as we get into some NFL football, as Trey McBride he's now the highest paid tight end in the National Football League, but he says didn't start that way. He was on Bustin' with the Boys podcast. It revealed Card's first contract offer was much lower than expected. Here he is on the podcast.
Was it the first offer was 16?
No, the first offer was actually way lower, but it was like 12. The Cardinals are.
Oh,
yeah. So then I was like,
"We feeling disrespected?" You're like,
well, then I was like, yeah, it might not be the Cardinals. Maybe I go somewhere else. Maybe I play my last year and kind of explore my options. And then they finally, they wanted to get it done, and I knew I wanted to be the highest paid at the time. And Travis was at 17, and we got to 19, and I really wanted 20. 20 was the number I really wanted, but we couldn't get him up to 20.
Get it on the next one.
Yeah. Let's hope so. That means that they're having success.
Trey McBride, I got to commend him. He speaks his mind. Talked about that when they were in minicamp and Jacoby Brissett wasn't there. He talked about, we're going to play with the quarterbacks we have. Now he's out there practicing with Jacoby Brissett in Florida. He said something else I forgot in reference to the Cardinals organization. But they lowballed me, but you know how the Cardinals are, to paraphrase it. But they came around, and the timing is interesting just because, you look at the ESPN came out with Jeremy Fowler, the top tight ends, top 10 in the National Football League, and they got him ranked number 2 behind Brock Bowers of the Raiders, that he's that guy, that he was the offense for this Cardinals team. So glad they finally came around and gave him that extension, gave him that money, well worth where he's at.
All right, as we turn our attention to the World Cup, yesterday France knocked out Morocco 2-0. Last night, yesterday afternoon, that is at Gillette in Boston. Here's one of the scores.
Here they come for more. Dembele.
Yeah, he cracked it open. There he is. This guy's just a stud. All of them are. I mean, I think they're gonna win it all. I really do. France looks so good.
They really do. I mean,
especially defensively as well.
It's which amazes me, and I'm glad that the broadcasters pointed out how good these guys are with their feet, with the ball. It amazes me they can run that fast with the ball, control it, balance, get their shot. And we'll see a Holland with Norway tomorrow. Just the size and how good he is with his feet, how athletic he is. And for a lot of these guys, when you look at the Mbappes and the Hollands and the Messis and all those guys that are just so quick with their feet and so fast that they continue basically get the ball. And unless you double team the guy, he's going to scoot around you, at least get a shot off on goal.
All right, and then the big one. Conor McGregor returns to the octagon tomorrow night. UFC 1,562 from Las Vegas. First time we've seen him since he snapped his leg, 5 years ago, to rematch with Max Holloway. And if you forgot how Conor operates on the mic, let this remind you.
Tell me I've got the wrong assumption. I feel your way to win is within 5 to 7 minutes.
I can destroy Max inside 10 seconds. I have knockouts inside 3 seconds on my fighting record. I have Hall of Fame fighters, multiples. Hall of Fame UFC fighters, defeated and destroyed, both together in under a minute. And I can add Max to that. However, don't get it twisted. If we go into these deep waters, Max is going to be in a lot of trouble, badly concussed.
What happened the first time?
What happened the first time? Yeah. You were left in a wheelchair.
God,
That's what happened the first time.
God.
Shot.
Once you go, mate, you don't go back.
The theater of Conor McGregor, the Scotsman. It's also every time you hear him talk at these pressers, you hear these speeches, these diatribes he goes on. I think of Mel Gibson in Braveheart with some of the when he addressed all of the Klansmen about getting motivated. You kind of hear that same speech, that same talk of coming out. Maybe it's just the accent that you get enthralled with when you hear like that. But Conor McGregor, he's back, folks, whether you like it or not.
All right, today's Replay Rewind is brought to you by Lerner & Rowe. In a wreck, need a check, make one call. That's all, 602-977-1900. And always at lernerandrowe.com. Yesterday they had a huge event out at AAG. They had their Lerner & Rowe Gives Back backpack program. And, again, they're in 10 states giving away backpacks for back to school. It's just an awesome deal. And it was very well received yesterday.
How many folks you have out there, Roc?
Over a couple thousand.
Wow, that's great.
All right, some national news. A streak nearly 4 years in the making is over. World number one, Scotty Scheffler, missed the cut at the Genesis Scottish Open after rounds of 68 and 72, left him at even par, 2 shots outside the cut line. He had made 78 consecutive cuts. That took him back to August of 2022, but he missed a 6-foot par putt on the final hole, which ended the run. He now gets some extra time to prepare for the Open Championship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
next week,
his title defense. Michigan has removed the interim tag from Mike Boynton Jr., signing him to a 2-year deal as the Wolverines head coach. He took over after a national championship when Dusty May left for the Mavs. He served as their defensive coordinator. Yes, defensive coordinator for the basketball team, and helped construct the number 1 defense last season. So he also was able to keep nearly the entire roster. So that gives them some stability as they go into the season on ESPN's early top 25 as ranked number 5. And then Charles Barkley is once again the biggest long shot to win the American Century Championship Celebrity Golf Tournament there at Lake Tahoe. Despite showing some major improvement and shooting 81 with an eagle during last year's event, sportsbooks, we'll talk to Scott Spreitzer later, sportsbooks still give him the longest odds in the field. And of course, it's a Stableford format, which awards points for birdies and eagles. So it kind of limits the damage from a blow-up hole if you get a 10 or something like that. But Barkley may not be a legitimate championship threat, but he remains one of the tournaments. Of course, you know, we want to watch him. We're going to tune in. You're going to want to watch him play.
Well, you just remember his old swing, the hitch he had, that bad boy. He's got like a normal swing now. So I don't know who he was working with the last few years, but whoever he's working with has done a phenomenal job with him to have like a normal golf swing. And you're looking at like the last 2 years, last 2 winners. You read, because I haven't really followed it the last couple of years. I followed some of the football players. But a tennis player, I believe, won it 2 years ago or last year, and then a hockey player. It always seems like the hockey guys are the guys that are up there. I see a few of the tennis players. I know that Steph Curry was in it a couple of years ago. But the hockey guys, they just crush the ball, but just the accuracy. I can go way, way back when John Brody and some of the older quarterbacks back in the day when this first started, going up there to Lake Tahoe, that they were some of the top golfers. So if you're a quarterback, you got to be a golfer, Roc. You know, it's part of the job. Be a golfer and, show some kind of game if you're going to be out and about like that.
You know, one thing that I found that I don't know if anyone agrees with me, but the whole banana ball.
Yes.
Go away.
Why?
They are, there's over 6 to 8 teams.
Yes, I saw that.
It's on TV all the time. And once you see it once, that's it. It's not like you're going to watch the Globetrotters every weekend. I had to look up, but this is their 11th season. Mm-hmm. They're playing 190 games this season, 45 states, 75 stadiums. When does it get to the point where what else can they show us that's comical? It's like I'm watching it and I just sitting there and I'm like, all right, this is all right. I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that song. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I think it's gonna drain itself, and it's just gonna lose its interest because it's one of those things where it was such a hot ticket. I believe it still is, but I can't imagine this continuing to the level that it is right now when they're going to be on ESPN2 or whatever it is every single weekend, and it's back-to-back games. And I know the games are timed in the short and all that, but I only want to see the bananas. I don't need to see the party animals and the firefighters and the Loco Beach coconuts and the clowns of Indianapolis or whatever the teams are.
Demand, Rock.
But I can't. I think they're ruining it.
It's interesting you bring this up because I didn't realize. I knew there was like 4. I didn't realize they expanded it to 6. But I'm like
Could be more.
It could be more. I
don't even know that. The story I saw was back in February. They probably added 20 teams.
But
you and I can start a team.
Sure. If you oversaturate the market, too much of a good thing can be too much of a bad thing. I think where you're going.
That's my point.
Yeah, I think
clearly my point.
But I've watched them a lot.
I can't watch it anymore. I think it's just I'm not trying to be. The only thing I liked a couple of weeks ago, I just happened to just going up the channels because dog days of summer, you look for something to watch, and I saw the babies racing.
Yes, I saw that.
That is kind of funny to line up 10 kids that can barely crawl, and then when it gets to the finish line, and it actually took too long, so they had to push the kids along just so they could get the inning going. But I don't know. I just think it's just kind of a little too much.
You think you're saying we're out there welcome?
I think so. I mean, when the Globetrotters, I know they play 2 times when they come in here, but
just
they come every February, whatever it is. Yeah. One team against the Generals or whoever, and then that's it. But this is just
you could be honest, but I do appreciate what they've done for the fans because they're sellout everywhere they go, whatever team it is. And I think last week they had a game at Oregon Stadium, Autzen Stadium. Jam-packed, sold out, and it's all the stuff they do before the game out front.
Yeah,
and the stuff it's and then the one guy he's an actor. He played baseball at UCLA. He's an actor now, but he's involved now with some of the singing he has, some of the dancing, the choreography. I got to tell you what, for all these baseball players or actors that turn into baseball players, I think I enjoy watching it just because of all the things they do.
I used to. I just think it's gotten old so fast, and I think it's made for in person.
Yeah,
I don't think it works.
No, it's not. That's what I was about to tell you guys.
Yeah. That's where I'm going with this.
It's kind of fun to watch on TV. It's gone old. I went to the one at Sloan Park with my brother, I think last year, the year before. It was the most boring 2 hours I've had in my entire life. It is way better on television. It's oriented very much for kids when you're there. Yeah, you can have a beer, kick back. It's fun. But it's hard to pay attention to even what's going on. The sound isn't very good. It's way, way better on TV. It was a horrible 2 hours. No offense. It's cool concept, but it was not enjoyable.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I've not been in person. Maybe I would enjoy it, but on television, when it's on all the time, it's like a marathon, a bananas marathon. It's like, come on. Yeah. If it's not appointment television, that's for sure. And that's what sports is all about. It's appointment television.
Yeah, I think
you're taking time to watch it at a particular time.
I think Jason Stone, who's the guy that he said that initially they didn't want to sell out to any TV networks or whatever. Well, now
they sold out.
Yeah, he's on ESPN
they clearly
all the time.
All right, 61-33. That's the best record in the entire sport of baseball. And of course, they're going for a three-peat, that being the Dodgers tonight. D-backs open a weekend series with them. Shohei Ohtani is going to be on the mound. We're going to catch up with Dodgers pre and post analyst and World Series champion Jerry Hairston Jr. He will join us next, right after Laz gives you an ESPN 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs got back on track last night, salvaging a split of their 4-game series with the Padres behind a quality start from Merrill Kelly and a late solo home run from Nolan Arenado to secure a 3-1 win at Petco Park. Arizona now heads to Los Angeles for a 3-game set with the Dodgers as the D-backs look to build some momentum heading into the All-Star break. This ESPN 620 Sports Center update is powered by Twin Peaks. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Tequila cocktails, premium bourbon, top shelf spirits over ice balls, local craft beers, and those famous 29-degree Michelob Ultra and Bud Light drafts. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and scenic views. Jerry Hairston Jr. joins the guys next.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
I was in a wreck. I need a check. I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Call 977-1900.
Living in the Valley of the Sun means we're always battling the heat on the golf course, at work, or just getting through the day. To stay sharp, you need more than energy. You need hydration. You need Phoenix Hydration Energy, spelled Phoenix, like the city we love. Phoenix gives you clean, natural energy from green tea, plus 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks. No crash, no junk, just pure performance. Grab Phoenix Hydration Energy today at 7-Eleven, Quick Trip, or Circle K. Phoenix Hydration Energy. Rise up.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs. Right off Thompson Peak and Bell. Next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club. A one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills. Just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at OrangeDaleLounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
Don't be fooled by the people you meet on social media. It may start as an innocent conversation, but anyone who tries to sell you pills or powders is nothing more than a drug dealer. And if you think tiny amounts can't do much harm, think again. Fentanyl can end it all. Know the truth about fentanyl at learnmoreaz.org. Don't be fooled. Don't be faked out. Visit learnmoreaz.org. Sponsored by Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. On Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Guy that you're just trying to find square up. Highline drive, center field, carries over the wall. 300 for Shohei Ohtani.
Just amazing. And he gets the ball tonight against Arizona. He's raking. Gary Hairston Jr. joins us, World Series champion, part of the pre and post for the Dodgers television network, and he joins us down the right to it, I guess. So, Jerry, I mean, I know you've been around Jeter and A-Rod, and you've been with some of the most amazing players, but now as a broadcaster and an analyst, what is it like covering a guy doing both at the MVP level day in and day out? He's just a stud.
Yeah, you try not to take it for granted. You try not to. And, you know, it's amazing. Last year, when he had game 4 in the NLCS and he struck out 10 against a very good Milwaukee Brewers team, a Milwaukee Brewers team that led the National League in wins, shuts them down, strikes out 10, and, oh, by the way, hits 3 bombs. I mean, bombs. One, an absolutely tape measure shot of a guy throwing 100 miles an hour. And I'm sitting there going, what am I watching here? Seriously. I've been watching baseball since I could crawl. And I've seen, you know, just about anybody. You mentioned Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr., Barry Bonds. You know, I grew up watching Mike Schmidt, you know, Harold Baines, so many great players, Reggie Jackson, Ricky Henderson. And I'm like, you know, I remember, you know, watching Michael Jordan and, you know, any of the football people out there, he was like a combination of Lawrence Taylor on the defensive end and Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback in one. That's what Michael Jordan was. I think that's what I'm seeing with Shohei Ohtani. You know, on the defensive end, pitching, you know, Lawrence Taylor. On the offensive end, Tom Brady. And that's what we're seeing when it comes to Shohei Ohtani. But we have breaking news. I'm going to give you some breaking news.
Okay.
Shohei Ohtani will not pitch tonight against the D-backs. He will not. So I don't know if it's been announced yet. I think it has. But he will not pitch tonight against the D-backs. But he will hit DH.
No reason to watch.
Yeah.
I mean,
we were looking forward to Erod and Ohtani.
Yeah, we have a good
aces going
pitching
at it.
matchup. Our top pitcher going against your top pitcher.
Yeah, I'm sure D-backs fans aren't gonna miss Shohei Ohtani on the mound, you know. But you know, I think with him, he's been dealing with a knee injury, and I think it's smart. You know, the one thing I've admired about Shohei Ohtani, he always puts the team first. You know, he does. He puts the team first, and he feels like he can't go with the knee. Then you know he doesn't want to risk further injury, so he's gonna not pitch tonight.
So Jerry, you talked. There's great players. There's generational players, and then there's once-in-a-lifetime players. Can you separate all three? Is there one that trumps the other? One, let's say the once-in-a-lifetime. How does it trump once-in-a-generation or one of the great ones per se?
Well, once in a lifetime, you know, for fortunate in this life to live 80, 85 years, that's the lifetime.
Yes.
So I think we can say that Shohei Ohtani is once in a lifetime. Sure. We can safely say that Michael Jordan is once in a lifetime. Generational players, you can say, you know, a guy like, you know, football, Aaron Donald. He's a generational player. In that generation, he was an absolute stud. You can say Steph Curry. In the generation, he's an absolute stud. But once in a lifetime, that's Shohei Ohtani, Michael Jordan, and I mean, you can say that about Tiger Woods as well.
Right.
You can say that about Tiger Woods as once in a lifetime type player.
Is it a generational thing? We can go way back. I can. I know you can too. To have four of your team of the teammate on the National League All-Star, you got four starters in the lineup. You got two Braves and then a Philly and a National. I mean, that's very rare as well too. Is it not, Jerry?
It is. It's rare, but that's just a credit to the Dodgers team. You know, a lot of people don't realize this Dodgers team has been hurt with injuries, man. Mookie Betts lost a lot of time. Teoscar Hernandez, we just got back. He lost a lot of time. Blake Snell, I think, has only made a couple starts. Tyler Glasnow as well. We haven't had our all-star closer, Edwin Diaz, for the entire season, basically. So this team has been crushed by injuries. But the one thing this team does not do is they don't make excuses.
Yeah.
They come to the ballpark every day to make sure they're going to put themselves in position to win a ball game that night. And for the most part, they've won a lot of games that way. They never feel sorry for themselves. They just don't. And I think it's a culture as well. Dave Roberts does a great job of making sure that we have culture as far as everybody who's in that lineup feels they're going to win. Whether you have young guys like Dalton Rushing. We're missing Will Smith for the majority of the year. America's catcher, you know, and Dalton Rushing has stepped up, a young guy. You know, Alex Freeland has stepped up, a young guy. All older guys. Miguel Rojas has had to play a lot of games this year. So the culture here, I'm telling you, I've been around baseball my whole life, guys. This is the best culture I've ever been around and ever been associated with. They make zero excuses. They go out and make sure no matter who's out there playing, we're going to give our team a chance to win a ball game.
With that being said, you bring up Dave Roberts. Does he start managing towards November now, resting guys, or do you just keep the foot down?
I think you have to keep the foot down. Okay. You know, if you want to make sure guys are rested, like I just mentioned, Shohei Ohtani will not pitch tonight.
Yeah.
That's a form of making sure, hey, we don't want to, you know, go full metal jacket here. Understand, yes, we do have a comfortable lead, but Shohei is playing that. He's DHing. You go out there and you have an eye on series. No matter what series you're playing, you're going to win that series. You attack it that way. You don't worry about what's going to happen in August. You don't worry what's going to happen in September. But also you say, okay, if a guy is injured, not hurt, if a guy's injured, hey, we're going to make sure you take an extra week or two or three while you're on the IL to make sure you're fully 100%. So there's no need to rush back, because there are other clubs may rush back their players, you know, a week too early and they end up re-injuring themselves. Dodgers do a good job of making sure that once you're back for good.
You know, Jerry, you look at your schedule, and the only game, I go back to maybe the Baltimore series. That's the only time you guys lost back-to-back games. Other times you win 5 out of 7, 7 out of 10, like you are now. You won 7 out of 10. Is that a thing that, hey, look, we just lost back-to-back games. We're not going to do that type of thing. And to your point, is it a culture? Is it a mentality? Or just being aware that's just not what the Dodgers do?
I think it's all the above, which you mentioned. You hit the nail on the head. You know, the Dodgers lost a tough game the other night to the team that was just here. And, you know, it's amazing. Other teams and the fan base, oh, my God, that's a heartbreaking loss. I can't believe it. It was to the Colorado Rockies. Now, Colorado Rockies have been playing really good baseball lately. They've been swinging the bat the last 2 months. And they came back and they beat us. Hey, it happens.
Sure.
It happens, right? That could cause a team to go into a tailspin, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 games in a row. The very next day, guys are on their routine, get there early, do their work, and be ready to go like nothing ever happened the previous night. It never happened. They're able to separate each and every day, and that's why they've had a lot of success.
I just amazed the organization, the moves they make, or just the way they develop their players. To your point, I don't care who plays that night. You guys just win. I mean, you got Edmonds at second base one night, then he's at left field the next night. I mean, the interchangeable parts, I just amazes to me how no matter who plays, the consistency of winning and just understanding how to win. But that's the thing, the interchangeable parts, you know, Mookie in right field one night, then he's back at shortstop, then he's at second. And it's like, where do you want me, Skip? I'm ready to go.
I think it really started, you know, when I got to the Dodgers in 12, you know, Andre Ether was one of the leaders of the clubhouse. And we had a saying, you check your ego at the door. Everybody has an ego. I mean, you get to the big leagues, you got an ego. Let's be real. You get pro sports, you have an ego. With the Dodgers, you check your ego at the door. It's all about winning. I think that has been a thing where when you have Shohei Ohtani, who's the best athlete in the world right now, he understanding, I will do whatever the manager tells me to do. Now, if he's doing that, if Freddie Freeman's doing that, if Mookie Betts is doing that, who am I? You know what I'm saying? Who am I? So everybody understands, hey, it's a well-oiled machine. You do check your ego at the door, and you make sure we are here all about winning. Sure, it's important to make your money. Sure, it's important to get service time. And here's another thing, too, that a lot of fans don't realize. The Dodgers are always picking 30th, 35th, 45th in the draft. They don't have the first, second, or third pick in the draft. How are they able to have guys coming up through the system like a Pajes, like a Dalton Rushing, Will Smith coming through the system, right? Young pitchers coming through the system. We had Walker Buehler, obviously, who thrived here. Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger. How are they able to do that and always picking late in the draft? Because they do not skimp as far as scouts and development. They make sure they sign the guys, they draft the guys, and then they make sure they have the best possible chance as far as development through the system. And then once they get to the big leagues, they hit the ground running. And then they'll sometimes use those blue chip prospects and go trade for a Mookie Betts because that team doesn't want him. Or a trade for David Price because he's a little older and he still has something left in the tank. They do a great job on all aspects of the organization. And like I said, you know, there's not going to be a salary cap. There's not going to be a salary cap. But just in the magic world, let's just say in a fantasy land, there is a salary cap. The Dodgers will be so far ahead of everybody else, it'd be laughable. It'd be like the Dodgers would be like the Tom Brady New England Patriots every year, and the Cleveland Browns would be Major League Baseball. That's what it'd be like. Because they will be so far ahead of everybody else because they do everything right. You know, and that's why it's laughable. That's why it's laughable for the players, too, because they know not just the Dodger players, all throughout Major League Baseball. So the Dodgers do it right, man, not just in this sport, but if you look at in all sports, they are at the pinnacle of how organizations are run.
Jerry, last one, but I got about a minute here. You just bring up Andy Pajes.
No, I got one more for him.
Well, Andy Pajes, I mean, just when you got all your stars, here's another emerging star that's making the All-Star game. He's got 16 dingers already, who kind of came on the scene, at least nationally, last year. But here's another one that just, you pop him in the fold, and here we go again.
They developed him all throughout the minor leagues. He was a corner outfielder, They developed him into an elite center fielder in the big leagues. He came up as a right fielder with a rocket of an arm. He had trained himself in the offseason, and he continues to work on his craft every day. Now he's become an elite center fielder. And, oh, by the way, you mentioned he does have pop in his bat. That's development. We take nothing for granted over here. They do not. Guys, I've grown up in this game. I've been in big league clubhouses since I was in diapers, okay? So I've seen different types of organizations. I played for 9 different teams. And some great organizations I played for, and some, took some things for granted. This is the best team I've ever seen on making sure the young guys, the guys that have 6-7 years in, guys that are veteran guys, each and every one of these guys do not take anything for granted. It's a well-oiled machine.
All right, last one, Jerry. Who's your first half MVP for the Dodgers? First half.
That's a tough question because obviously the obvious answer is Shohei Ohtani. That's the obvious answer because what he does on a daily basis, offensively and obviously on the mound. But if I were to give, a couple different MVPs, Justin Robleski has stepped into the rotation when guys gotten hurt and has done an awesome job. He has really cemented that rotation to go along with Yamamoto and Show, with guys like Glasnow and Snell hurt. And then as far as the bullpen, Tanner Scott has been incredible. I mean, talk about a guy who wasn't taken to be the closer. Diaz goes down right away, and he has now come back to be the closer, that stud closer. So I would say those 3 guys, from the bullpen side, Tanner Scott, rotation, Robleski, and then obviously the everyday player, I'm going to go Show. Those 3 guys are my MVPs.
He's the World Series champion, Jerry Hairston Jr., the real Jay Hair, Dodgers pre and post for LA Spectrum Sportsnet. Dude, as always, buddy, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Anytime, guys. I'm going to watch the game a little later. I'm off tonight, and I'm going to go get on some rides with my daughter. So we're at Six Flags now, so I'm going to go get on some rides.
Awesome. Thanks for stepping aside for us, buddy. Appreciate you, man. Thanks. That's Jerry Hairston Jr. joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN Radio. All right, coming up next, the NFL is making a massive bet on the future of football. We're going to show you the first look, basically, through radio at the league's new professional football, flag football stadium and talk about why the NFL is investing $160 million into the sport. And we asked the question, would you actually pay to watch pro flag football? That's next on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Happy Hour is happening at Twin Peaks, Monday through Friday, 2 till 6 p.m. With Reverse Happy Hour, Sunday through Thursday, 10 till close. Plus, grab 22-ounce Michelob Ultra drafts every Thursday and Saturday, 22-ounce Bud Light drafts every Sunday, and new on Thursdays, $5 Busch Light 16-ounce aluminums. 5 Valley Twin Peak locations, cold beer, scratch-made food, and wall-to-wall sports. Twin Peaks, tell them Roc and Manuch sent you.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the Grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
Need to feed a crowd? Let Venencia's bring the flavor to your next event. We know you have a lot of options when feeding a large group. Ordering directly from Venencia's means you get the best service and the absolute best pricing. There's no per-person fee. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll come up with a perfect plan to ensure everyone's well-fed and happy. Grad party, office celebration, family reunion. Invite Venencia's to the table. Text catering to 411-24/7. That's catering to 411-247 or Venencias.com.
Cars aren't the only vehicle on our roads.
Arizona drivers, don't forget to look out for motorcycles. That means checking your blind spots. Motorcycles are hard to see, day or night. They move and stop quickly, too. So keep your distance whenever you see them. And stay focused on the road, not your phone. Make sure you're protecting everyone on our streets. Stay on the lookout for motorcycles. This message is sponsored by the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
When a heart stops, the clock starts. You are the first responder until help arrives. In that moment, 4 minutes equals brain damage. 6 minutes equals too late in an emergency. The first responder is you. We need you. Will you be ready? Learn CPR. Visit heart.org/nation. That's heart.org/nation.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Right Toyota On This Day report. Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, 27 years ago today, 1999, the U.S. women's national team won the World Cup at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena in front of 90,000 plus. It beat China on penalties 5-4. That was the big deal, and that's basically, the iconic photo of
Mia Hamm?
No, was it Brandy Chastain who
Might have been,
basically kind of ripped off her jersey, and we got to see her little
Showed the
outfit
sports
there.
bra there. Sliding on both knees.
Yeah.
Flashing us with the sports bra, that type of
So
thing.
there you have it on this day in sports history, presented by Right Toyota. The right price, the right selection, always the right dealership here on Franklin Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. That is our home right now. A little late on football at 50, and this has to do with the NFL. They've released the first renderings of a stadium that will host new professional flag football. It's a new league. It's going to launch in 2027. It's a modular 3-level outdoor stadium. It's designed to seat about 1,000 plus fans, like 1,002, maybe 3,000, I should say. It features some premium seating, outdoor dining areas, retail shop, very fan-focused, but built specifically for flag football. So they're not going to take over a football stadium and make it for flag. And it's a big deal. The inaugural season we played in one host city, and then they're going to expand from there. But the NFL's committed $160 million to support all 32 teams. So we'll see an Arizona team, I'm sure. But as you know, this matters because the NFL views flag football as the next major growth opportunity. It's interesting. I was on a call yesterday with the Fiesta Bowl, who are looking to expand their women's flag football that they launched last year. That was on ESPN. So it's clearly here to stay. And it's going to debut as an Olympic sport, the 2028 LA Games. So it's a new league. It's going to feature both men and women. And the goal is to create some kind of pathway from youth to the Olympics and then to the professional ranks. So the question, would you buy a ticket to watch professional flag football?
Yes, I would. Matter of fact, I'm training some
watch
of the
on
women.
TV.
I've trained a few gals that could be like Caitlin Jewell, who is at
boring.
Yeah, well, she's trying out for the women's. I know it's very boring.
Flag football is boring.
I played flag football until I got to high school. That's all I could play.
What do you want an award?
No,
I mean,
just
so what?
I think it's for a lot of people. There's a lot of kids that are not going the football route. They're staying with flag.
I don't think it's a spectator sport.
Well, it might be more.
It's probably fun to play.
It's a blast to play. I love
I
playing
played it as a kid.
But I think we'll be surprised at how many, especially the women's sport, has just grown, has exploded on the scene. But I think with the men, it's kind of. I watched the exhibition they had with Joe Burrow and some of those guys played a USA men's flag football, and they got killed. So there's finer nuances to it. It's probably not as aggressive as you like, but there's a lot of motion. Flag versus 7-on-7 is flag you can run and you could throw. And I would pay if there's a couple
The
gals.
last time you paid for a ticket?
I do it every year, every time San Francisco comes in town.
That's your own fault. You train a kid, he can't give you a free ticket.
Well, I can see, he's got like 95 different family members.
Yeah, but you're the coach.
I know, but I got to acquiesce to the family members when you get those tickets.
He's got a brother and sister, right?
Yeah, he's got the family, the uncles, the nephews, get the whole.
What about Brock Purdy, by the way?
Yeah, when they come to Arizona, especially like in December, January, they come here for the warmth. So I don't hold that against them.
Yeah, so big question: would you buy a ticket to watch professional flag football? That's one of the questions. By the way, at Sports Radio Rock on Twitter and Instagram, I posted what this modular looks like. It's pretty kick-ass. And lads, if you're going to play on this day again, the song for the freaking 5 minutes, find some time to forward this on our.
It's a good song.
It is, but I wasn't doing it on this day.
You were transitioning to football there, big fella.
Like
That's
football
okay.
50. And I was 2 minutes late. I thought you'd be on it. But I get it's Friday. You've already checked out for the weekend, lads.
Yeah,
You probably
got out the door.
You got big
I'm never
plans for the
checked out,
weekend.
guys. We're locked in back here.
Whatever. You got big plans for the weekend? What you got a big date? Where you going to Chipotle? What are you doing?
Nothing too crazy. Just hanging out, taking it easy. It was a long 4th of July weekend.
Yeah. As Roc mentioned yesterday at Roc's Man Advice, don't try to be over-impressive. Chipotle, be fine. Don't try to impress that first date too much there, according to Roc's Man Advice. Don't try too hard the first time, buddy.
All right, coming up in hour number 2, NFL Network anchor Mike Yam will join us, talk a little cards, some of the big NFL storylines heading into the season, and whether Arizona is ready to take the next step. I think we know the answer. Probably don't even need to ask him that. And then we'll head to Las Vegas. Scott Spreitzer from DocSports.com will handicap this weekend's World Cup quarterfinals. Get his take on the latest betting odds on Conor McGregor's long-awaited return to the octagon. If we have time, get the odds, if he even has them, on Charles Barkley in the celebrity deal out at Lake Tahoe. We got some soccer going on now. 2-1 Spain. 2-1 Spain. Looks like they're in extra time, so that one may be over. All right, we'll get into hour number 2. We're out here, right Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with you today. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Mike Yam next.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
If you don't have gas in your home, but something doesn't smell good. Ew, what's that smell? If it smells like rotten eggs, there could be a leak in your neighborhood. Now what do I do? If you suspect a leak, move fast, call 911 and Southwest Gas. But I don't have natural gas in my home. Gas lines are buried all around, so even if you don't have gas, I know, call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Temperatures are rising, and so are AC costs. But Collins Comfort Masters can help you stay cool without breaking the bank. Get a new high-efficiency Lennox AC system installed for as low as $99 a month. Serious comfort at a seriously cool price. Collins Comfort Masters has served the Valley for over 40 years. Call 480-NO-WORRY or visit collinscomfort.com to schedule today. Collins Comfort Masters, your no-worry solution for air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, and water filtration.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. The insurance company's job is to pay you as little as possible. Our job is to get you every dollar you deserve. Call Lerner Rowe today and let's make them pay. Call 977-1900.
Call 977-1900.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. And now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
After the set, 5-step drop, steps up, gets hit, gets the pass away, left side into the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown by Trey McBride, having arguably the greatest single season in NFL history by a tight end.
And he got paid.
Got paid.
Congrats.
He negotiated.
And we played some sound of him earlier today, talking about the Cardinals kind of lowballed him originally, but he wanted to be over Travis Kelce's 17 or whatever it was, and he got 19. So
Yes.
I know the goal was 20 million, but I'll take 17.
Oh, absolutely. He's really good to go. And just, with Jeremy Fowler's recent article on the top tight ends, he's number 2 ranked, only second to Brock Bowers of the Raiders. So Trey McBride was the offense for the Cardinals last year.
All right, jumping on with us from the NFL Network. He's the anchor. He's also the author of the book, Fried Rice and Marinara. Mike Yam joins us now on the Right Toyota Guest on here on ESPN Radio Phoenix. How we doing this Friday afternoon, Mike?
Good to hear you guys. Appreciate the invite. Looking forward to the start of the season, man. Before you know it, we're going to be here.
We one of our guests that'll be on at 3:30, former quarterback. You might know him, John Skelton, from Fordham. I went, it goes, hey, Manuch, just remind, say hi to Mike for me. I said, oh, my gosh, you guys graduate together? He goes, oh, my. He's like insulted. I said, no. He said, Mike's way older than me. Wow. I mean, I know you got a few gray hairs there, Mike Yam, but I mean, way older. I mean, he threw you a little shot there.
Look, as every Fordham person will tell you, we're all honest people, and he was definitely telling the truth. You just fibbed there when you just said only a couple gray hairs. Believe me, man, it's coming in, the whiskers and the facial hair. I got there's starting to be a little more salt than I like with the pepper on the dome there. But I got excited because I actually saw a post that you guys put out, and I'm looking, I'm like, Skelton and Yam. I'm like, when was the last time 2 Fordham guys were on a sports talk show? It brought a smile to my face. Now, actually, let me preface this. All the guys that actually didn't play pro, there's a lot of us from the Fordham community that are broadcasters, but to get a former NFL player, that is a little bit more difficult to come by. But it definitely brought a smile to my face when I saw Skelton's headshot there in his name.
Oh, I love that. I want to get, all right, so that first game, of course, Arizona, Carolina, Hall of Fame game, first week of August. Larry Fitzgerald's going in. Your thoughts on what a Larry Fitzgerald can help this franchise? I mean, the franchise has had just so much bad luck for so many years. Now there's something positive we can talk about with Larry Fitzgerald going in the Hall of Fame.
It's huge. You guys know this. My good friend Yogi Roth, who I know is a frequent guest on the show, we spent a long period of time covering Pac-12 football together. Little known fact, and you guys actually Yogi's on vacation right now, but you should get him on after the fact. Do you know he and Larry were roommates together at Pitt?
Yeah, at Pittsburgh, right?
Which is pretty cool. So, there's some cool stories that are there. I think for most people, I think about Larry Fitzgerald and the simple handoff, right? When he gets into the end zone and the showmanship, there was something to be said for being sort of classy about it. And those are some of those memories that are there. But I think you're right. And I think you hit the nail on the head, trying to grasp for some level of positivity around this franchise and this organization. It's been tough sledding the last couple of years. It's well documented. I think the fans that are listening to this station that are fans of Cardinals football understand that. And I think, to your point, to try to head into this offseason or now, I guess, heading into the regular season, which is around the corner, but to have some positivity, just with Larry's name being associated with the Hall of Fame, and just the positive vibes, heading into the year, to me is definitely important, just to try to get some level of positivity, because it hasn't been that way watching the football. I feel like this franchise has done and undergone multiple resets, and here we are again trying to rebuild and make this thing competitive. And you saw flashes of that. I think even without Kyler, and it's a new direction now for this team, but it's going to be tough sledding in this division, no question.
Also, Mike, it's interesting, you got Luke Kuechly from the Carolina Panthers. They play each other. And you talk about iconic figures in that city. Going back, there's a Charlotte, I believe, is where the team is. To grow that, and they've stayed fairly constant. They're kind of coming back. They've been to the Super Bowl twice, lost both of them. But you got two iconic figures that are the city, Larry Fitzgerald and then Luke Kuechly, to have those two come together and talk about class acts.
Yeah,
I think
love them out there.
I think speaks very well of both, at least for both franchises, those two individuals.
Yeah, no question. It's funny too, because at NFL Network, Steve Smith's one of my colleagues over there, and we were talking about Luke the other day inside our locker room, and when those guys were teammates. And I think the one thing that you just said rings true for both of those players, right? I think fans have seen the ultra productive careers that both of those guys had, but who they are as people is a little bit of a differentiator there. The class act, I think both of those guys bring to the table, and sort of that demeanor that they had as players, and certainly in their post-playing careers is part of the reason why I think there's so much interest in this year's class.
And Mike, you look at the up and comers in today's NFL football, and we look back at so many iconic individuals, and now we're looking at those that could be, hope springs eternal. We just talked about Trey McBride. He was the guy last year for this passing game. Look at some of the other tight ends, Brock Bowers. I mean, all those up and comers that are there now. That sustainability has got to be so hard. You think of Larry, you think of Luke, and to see Trey McBride that could be on that upper path, or some of these outstanding players on that upper path, you eventually get there.
Look, I think once you talk about Hall of Famers, and I think the more I've interacted with those guys in, even just after their playing days, not even when they were players, if you talk to their former teammates, they will tell you there was a level of consistency that was there. And then when you have those conversations for them, and I don't mean just the consistency in terms of the production, but the preparation, all of the things that they needed to do to get to that level. It's just sort of elite, and it is really difficult to maintain that, not just for 2 or 3 seasons, but the longevity of an entire career. You mentioned McBride. I would have made the case, and I get Brock Bowers, but if you said to me, hey, you get the first pick of a tight end in the NFL, McBride's my guy. That's the direction that I would lean. And there's a ton of great tight ends in the NFL, but when you take combination of skill set, age, and what he's been able to accomplish, when quite frankly, and Bowers, by the way, has been in the same boat where there's a little bit of a revolving door at that quarterback spot, not a ton of consistency there. Trey's ability, though, to make not just the elementary and the rudimentary type of play, but just sometimes the spectacular ones just look like they're rudimentary, to me is one of the things that makes him really special. I was doing a show on NFL Network on Sundays. We're like dipping in and out of games, and I remember we were taking a live look at a Cardinals game, and McBride just made this ridiculous catch, and he's had so many of them in his young career, and I just thought to myself, like, my God, these one-handed grabs, the athletic ability, the guy is so special when he's out on the football field. It really is remarkable. So when we talk about a franchise reset and having a piece like that in your core, to me, like that's one piece, right? Like one positive thing that you can head into the season and hopefully continue to build around.
It's interesting you talk about reset, franchise, build around. We had Tyler Shuck on yesterday, the Saints quarterback, who I've been fortunate to train since 8th grade. To see him be that guy to start to turn around. We saw last year where they missed the playoffs by one game, last night game. A guy like that can reset and have confidence to move it forward. And so, Mike, when you think about him or other quarterback or maybe other players that are helping a team reset or help it move forward or get off the schneid, who are some of the other ones you might think of that are like that right now?
Yeah, it's interesting, just to circle back on Tyler for just a moment. I mean, think about his career arc. And this goes back to, and this is a different conversation. I'm not saying Tyler's going to be a Hall of Famer, but we were talking about preparation before, about getting ready for the season and the longevity. I'm sure if you talk to Larry or Luke, they will tell you it wasn't always easy, right? Like, I don't think that there's such a thing as like straight line trajectory up where you don't have challenges in your career. Both of those guys probably face them. And I think of Tyler specifically, and you guys obviously know him, but you think about his start at Oregon, having to go to different programs. I used to make a joke out. I saw him at a couple of years ago at ACC Media Day. I'm like, man, you're like borderline collecting Social Security. Like, you were on the college plan that I wish I was on. Multiple different stops, staying a little extra time that's there. And I think there were so many concerns about injury for him and like, what can he be at the NFL? And then he gets those opportunities. He's been thriving. You mentioned missing that playoff spot. Can you imagine if he was sort of inserted a little bit earlier or had a little bit of those moments, like the what ifs, like we could play that game? But I think the perception around the Saints with him as their quarterback one, to me, like, that's a really important distinction. Like, they have their guy and they know they have their guy. Now they can start building around him. So I'm thrilled for Tyler, man, because he's had that opportunity to sort of like showcase like what he's capable of doing at the NFL level. I know you guys got a relationship with him. I know you're thrilled too, but I think as you look across the league, another young quarterback who I think in some ways was ahead of schedule. And I think now all of a sudden coming off of injury, Bo Nix is one of those guys too that, I'm thinking about coming off of injury. It's like, hey, what's he going to be this upcoming season? Denver as a team, like, what are they right now? But it's such a difference maker when you know who your QB1 is going to be. And it's pretty awesome to see a guy like Tyler have that type of success.
He's Mike Gam, NFL Network. From your seat there at the network, how's the league viewing this Cardinals competition? I mean, I know we're on the low end totem pole. Everybody's talking about Seattle and repeating and everything else, but with Brissett and Minshew and back, what are you guys even talking about if it's maybe it's too early for that, but there's a quarterback competition here.
Well, it definitely is. And I look, Gardner, to me, he's another guy that I actually got to cover when he was in college, when he was at Washington State, just to even see sort of his path. And you guys know this, right? Like, there's your elite guys, there's your tier one players at that quarterback position. There's a couple of those guys like that are fighting for those opportunities. What's really unique about the Cardinals quarterback competition, you threw Beck's name into the mix, but circling back on Brissett and Minshew, these are two guys who probably feel like, hey, like, if I'm given an opportunity, I can have some success. Brissett's had some of those moments. Gardner Minshew's had some of those moments. So I think both of those guys, in a lot of ways, are going to take this competition so serious. They always are. But I think both of them realize just how important this is, because this is an opportunity to come out of the gates as a starting quarterback this upcoming season. And who knows? Like, I don't think that the Cardinals look at that roster and say, hey, we're completely devoid of talent. And I think Brissett and Minshew are probably saying like, hey, with a guy like Trey McBride, for example, like, can I have some of those moments on the field? Can we stay competitive? Can I hold on to this job long enough so that next offseason, if not a competition, I'm this team starting quarterback and I get an opportunity to add some more pieces in an offseason and an NFL draft to see if we got an opportunity to win some games. So I'm with you there. I think, it is a competition, but I think the main conversation around it is, just how serious these guys are taken, because there's a lot on the line and an opportunity to not just be like the stopgap for this season, but I think in Minshew's case, he's like, hey, maybe I got some tread on these tires where I could be this team starting quarterback for a couple campaigns.
All right, Mike, so all that being said, if and when they give Jacoby Brissett an extension or they kick in a few bucks, does that automatically make him the starter if he's at 10, 12 per year, and Gardner's at what, 4.5, 5 per year, or maybe they extend Jacoby out even more? So does he become the de facto starter at that point?
Yeah, I think the one thing that you're seeing in today's NFL is a willingness to jump off of a player at a certain position if you think that there's another guy that can win you some games. I think, those scales with those contracts, I think, are more meaningful for some of the rookies. I think those guys that get those signing bonuses that are drafted a little bit higher get more of an opportunity than, maybe your undrafted free agent that's trying to grind it out. And I think that's why, I was doing the NFL draft a couple months ago, and I remember having this conversation with Bucky Brooks, and I'm like, we were getting late, and there was a couple guys that Bucky and I were fans of, and I'm like, I kind of hope he doesn't get drafted. And I said, I don't want to be the guy that is a buzzkill for this player or his family, because there's a thrill, right? You work your entire life, you dream about hearing your name called and being able to celebrate with your family. But I think in those situations, when you're a late round guy, you almost would rather have an opportunity to pick your spot, think about fit, scheme, know what the roster is, and can I really compete? Because the reality is, if you go and you're a late round pick and, let's say that team, took your position in the second or third round, let's be real here. You really think you're playing? Like, you think you're going to be able to earn that starting job? Like, that's just not going to happen. So, to me, I think with both of those guys, like, 'cause at the quarterback spot, we're not, I think once you get into like the 40, 50, $1 million, range, I think that's a different conversation. But think about this. We were talking, God, a couple of weeks ago on one of our shows about Houston's situation. Like, what do you do with CJ? Like, there was a point in the playoff game where you're thinking, like, is D'Amico throwing this dude back out in the field in the second half? And I think that would have been short-term thinking versus long-term thinking at that point. But I think if we were going to have that conversation about CJ Stroud, I think we can have it with any quarterback, generally speaking, maybe not any, but for most part, I think in Arizona's perspective for the Cardinals, I think they can come off as one of those guys if we could talk about CJ that way.
Hey, real quick, let everybody know where we can find fried rice and marinara. But here's my question. You growing up in that Asian Italian household, have you ever tried both of them together? Because I'm tempted. And every time you come on, I love fried rice. I love marinara sauce. Have you ever mixed or blended the two, put the topping on? Have you ever done that, Mike Yam?
So, first of all, you guys are the best. And I say this every time I come on with you because you guys are always so kind enough to promote the children's book, which, by the way, you can find on Amazon. And hopefully anyone who's listening will take a peek at it. It's also, by the way, if you want to watch it, it's animated. It's free. It's on YouTube. So you can preview the book before actually going and buying it as well. So that's pretty cool. But I get this question a lot. And here's what I'll tell you. Legitimately, at my birthday parties when I was growing up, there was Chinese food and Italian food. So I would be crazy not to think that there was not cross-pollination on the plate at some point. And since the book has come out, I've actually had people message me to tell me that their kids have tried it and they've liked it. So for whatever that's worth, I haven't gone like deep into that discovery, but I know it's happened.
Mike, what are you going to be calling this year? I know you've been doing a lot of different things. Of course, the Pac-12 was a big part of your life for a while. What do you? What's on in CW? What's the latest for the fall?
Oh God, I'm honestly it is so humbling to get asked to work anywhere. I'll be juggling a ton. ESPN just took over NFL Network back in April, so I'll still be back with NFL Network. NFL Media still exists. I'll be back with those guys doing their pregame shows. We got some shows on Sunday mornings, Monday Night Football. TNF will do those preview shows. We got Power Rankings, all of that, which you can get digitally and on fast channels. And then this year, I got to do the NBA for NBA TV. It looks like I'll be back with those guys next season, and then college football working around the corner with the CW. So there's a fair amount of work. It's all good stuff, and looking forward to staying busy in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Hey, we always enjoy you. Thanks for the time, and hopefully we'll get to do this a little bit more as we get closer to football season.
Thank you, Mike.
Honestly, you guys are the best. Seriously, always appreciate the invite.
That's Mike Yam from the NFL Network, and of course, the author of Fried Rice and Marinara on Amazon. You can follow him on X, Instagram. Just search Mike Yam. All right, D-back salvage one in San Diego. Now on to Los Angeles. We'll get into a little bit of the recap recently, but first, MLB's robot umpiring experiment. Is it proving the players are right or wrong? Got an update on that. That's next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
The biggest soccer tournament on the planet is going on, and there's no better place to catch every match than Twin Peaks. Watch all the action on wall-to-wall TVs with ice-cold 29-degree draft beer, made from scratch food, and game day specials all tournament long. Twin Peaks is going unmatched for every match through July 19th. Cheer on Team USA or your favorite country at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. $5 locations.
When it comes to your roof, you don't want to mess around. And Arizona homeowners and business owners have known that for over a decade. State 48 Roofing is Arizona's #1 referred roofer. Residential, commercial, they do it all. And they've been doing it right here in the Valley for over 10 years. Protect your home, protect your business. And hey, keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing. Visit state48roofing.com. or call 480-268-4509. State 48 Roofing, Arizona's most trusted roof.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizona's for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Rock for RightToyota.com. At Right Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on RightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at RightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at RightToyota.com.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views.
Living and having fun in the hot summer sun can turn deadly when mixed with stimulants. Stimulant drugs raise body temperature, impair the brain's ability to regulate heat, and makes it harder for the heart to cope with extreme heat. Studies show 1 in 5 heat-related deaths have involved meth, a stimulant that overheats the body, putting users at higher risk. Be aware and stay safe. Meth and heat is a deadly mix. Visit thenewmeth.com.
Sponsored by the Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Right Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota, located at 77th Street, Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
We're in the 6th inning of the 4th game of this series finale. The 1-2 pitch. Nolan swings, hits it out towards deep left field. Sheets going back. He is looking up. This is gone. Another home run for Arenado in Petco Park. It's his 11th home run of the season, and some huge insurance for the Diamondbacks as it's now 3-1.
I'll get into this feedback talk in just a moment, but I do want to get caught up on the midseason recap of the MLB automated ball strike, the ABS challenge system. It's reached the halfway point of its regular season, and the early results suggest it's working as intended. By the numbers through yesterday, 5,839 total challenges, 53% of the challenge calls have been overturned. So batters, 2,723 challenges, 48% successful. When it comes to the catchers or pitchers, 3,106 challenges. That's 58%. So when you look at the teams that are doing quite well, the batting challenges, Astros are 62%, 110 challenges, followed by the Braves. The next is 35%, 80 challenges. Catchers, the Rangers lead that with 73%. And then the low end, it would be the 40% with the Pirates. And overall challenge success goes to the Cincinnati Reds. You remember when the Diamondbacks played them recently, they were going back to back to back.
Sure were.
Doing a lot of calls. So Reds lead the Major League Baseball with the closest 65 combined success rate. So Sal Stewart, he's the guy. The Reds, he's got a good eye. 23 successful batter challenges. How about that? Not bad. So umpires, Derek Thomas has the lowest overturn rate at 33%. So that basically indicates he's got the highest accuracy among all the umpires. And CB Bucknor, you've heard that name. He has the highest overturn rate at 78%.
Yes.
He's expected to retire after the season.
You know, it's interesting.
He's going to be part of this Major League Baseball umpire buyout program. So they're getting rid of him because he sucks as an umpire.
He's been horrible. Quick to toss managers and players as well, too. You know, I think, and Rock, you'd probably know this more than anybody, part of the forward scouting, that'd be one of the new metrics, I think, whoever's umpiring, to have the one guy that's extremely good and then the other guy who's extremely bad to understand that. And if you don't feel it's a strike as a hitter, if you really feel it's out of the zone, tap the helmet. I think what's interesting is the guys that know the strike zone more than anything is the catchers. The catchers are 68%. They're the best as far as, pitchers, hitters, and the catchers at 68% know that strike zone extremely well. But when you look at it overall, it's 48% to the 52%. They're pretty close, but it looks like this is well documented, because we've seen where a batter has challenged it and he's walked, and the next guy up hits a home run versus striking out. So if you looked at some of the metrics, I don't know if they've gone that deep, and do runs scored after a challenge is successful and runners on base, that's how deep this thing goes. And that's why, if you really feel it's out of the strike zone, or if you're a pitcher, it's a strike, feel pretty adamant. But your catcher, I think right now with the pitchers, they'll look at the catcher and say, hey, do we challenge or not? And most catchers will just go ahead and tap their helmet if they feel it. So a lot of the pitchers just rely on that catcher. 68% is pretty good.
Well, heading in the All-Star break, Major League Baseball has some pretty strong evidence that this system is working. And
absolutely.
Accomplishing the goal. When you have a lot of good positive feedback and more than half the challenge calls are being overturned, the system is correcting a somewhat of a meaningful number, I guess, of missed ball and strike calls. So that kind of keeps the human element still intact with the umpire, right? Because I think a lot of purists, I can't stand instant replay. Just don't like it. I'm not a fan of APS. I understand it you're watching it on television, you see where it is. I get it. But there's something to the human aspect of sports.
Sure, I'd agree. I think
I know people want to get it right. Now with gambling and everything like that being so big, sports books, I think they have to. They have to do this.
I'm more of a fan of the instant replay, but this I'm not a fan of. I think you're talking about human element or adjusting to that umpire's zone. It could be a tighter zone. It could be a wider zone. And I think those are some of the things that are part of baseball, the magic of baseball, in reference to, hey guys, he's calling a lot of high strikes. Heads up. As long as he calls the consistency of his particular zone. So I'm like, I don't care for this, but I do like instant replay, making sure you get it right after we've seen so many blown calls over the years that have affected games, no hitters, and perfect games, which you saw some 15 years ago in Detroit.
All right, quarterfinals are loaded in World Cup. Spain beat Belgium today. Then it'll be Norway, England, and Messi's Argentina against Switzerland tomorrow. Doc Sports handicapper Scott Spreitzer will tell you where the value is next, plus the McGregor fight tomorrow night. So he will handicap that as well. You're tuned in today to Roc and Manuch out at Wright Toyota. We're on YouTube. We're on the Arizona Sports app. And, of course, on ESPN Radio 620 and 98.7 HD-2. Here is Laz with another ESPN Radio 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs got back on track last night, salvaging a split of their 4-game series with the Padres behind a quality start from Merrill Kelly and a late solo home run from Nolan Arenado to secure a 3-1 win at Petco Park. Arizona now heads to Los Angeles for a 3-game set with the Dodgers as the D-backs look to build some momentum heading into the All-Star break. First pitch tonight is set for 7:10 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6:30 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. This ESPN 620 Sports Center update is powered by Twin Peaks. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Tequila cocktails, premium bourbon, top shelf spirits over ice balls, local craft beers, and those famous 29-degree Michelob Ultra and Bud Light drafts. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more, there's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
Lace up, Tempe. The Frank Cush Youth Foundation's 33rd annual Runnin' for the Brats is back. Saturday, October 10th at Tempe Beach Park. Part of the Tempe Sister Cities Four Peaks Oktoberfest. Every step supports Lady Hawk softball, girls flag football, the Frank Cush Scholarship at ASU, and kids across our community. Sign up or volunteer at Oktoberfest.run. That's Oktoberfest.run. Give back, run, cheer. October 10th, Tempe Beach Park. When tragedy strikes, the impact is immediate and devastating. That's when the 100 Club of Arizona steps in, providing financial assistance, guidance, and emotional support to the families of public safety officers injured or killed in the line of duty. They also invest in mental health resources, injury prevention, and scholarships for the children of first responders. Every day, Arizona's public safety professionals put their lives on the line. The 100 Club of Arizona has their back. Learn more at 100club.org.
When it's game time in the Valley, you know what time it is. It's Twin Peaks time. Head to Twin Peaks with 5 Valley locations and massive screens everywhere you look. From basketball, baseball, to hockey, fights, and more. There's no better place to catch every play and all the action. Bud Light is a proud partner of sports fans everywhere. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Are you looking for career opportunities with great benefits and job growth? How about the chance to make an impact? What we do here at the City of Phoenix matters. 14,000 employees and counting, all dedicated to making a difference in the communities where they live, work, and play. So come join us. Help us do work that makes Phoenix work. You can see all open positions and apply at phoenix.gov/jobs. This message is sponsored by the City of Phoenix.
Now, sports gamblers, Scott Spreitzer, one of the leaders and most trusted names in the country. Nobody watches and studies games more than he does. From TalkSports.com, here's Scott Spreitzer, exclusively on with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, Scott joins us, talk some World Cup. We'll maybe get in some NFL, some baseball, and the McGregor fight tomorrow night. How we doing, Scott? What's going on, buddy? How are you today?
I'm doing okay, man. I just enjoyed that soccer match and looking forward to tomorrow's and Tuesdays with France and Spain. What a great game that's going to be.
Oh, geez, isn't it? Well, how about Norway and England tomorrow afternoon? How are you handicapping this one? This is a lot of people looking forward to this one.
Yeah, Erling Haaland has become a cult figure here in the States, hasn't he?
Big time.
The whole Viking storyline, the Viking role, I should say. But it's tough to play against England. I mean, they're unbeaten in 13 matches since they hired their current manager. They've got 12 wins and a draw in those 13 matches. And the fact they were able to go into the Estadio Azteca and win, which is unheard of for visiting countries. I mean, they had lost once or twice in 90 matches or whatever, Mexico. But I like the total better than anything else, guys. I think it's going to be an entertaining, high-scoring match. The over-under is 2.5 goals. You got to lay a little bit of a price on that over, around $1.30. I saw one book go to 3 on this earlier today. That's where I'm leaning to over 2.5. Both teams have scored in Norway's last 7 matches, and then all 5 of Norway's World Cup games have gone over this total. And then you look at England, they've scored 2+ goals in 4 of its matches so far in the World Cup. So I think everything points to another game with plenty of chances and goals. You got 2 quick teams. You know, both are good with their set pieces. So I like over 2.5 of this one.
You know, Scott, it's interesting. You watch this Norway team and, you know, the skull and the hair pulled back. This is one of the biggest soccer teams I think I've seen. I mean, I've ever seen. Watching World Cup, and he's 6'5", 220.
Yeah.
I mean, just the size, I think, is the thing that really stands out with how skilled they are in Norway.
Yeah, I'll tell you guys a quick story. We had a group from Norway and Sweden come to the States about 8 or 9 years ago, looking to get involved in the business I'm in and meeting with some of us. They were all 6'4", 6'5", 200 pounds and cut. You know, I don't want to mess with those countries. And I think before we could expect Team USA to really make that big next step on the soccer on a pitch, we have to get someone else besides our, and this is going to sound insulting, I don't mean it, but it's factual, something besides our D athletes, our D-level athletes. We got to get guys out there who would have been 6'5" quarterbacks or, a 6'4" lineman or something like that, who's in soccer shape at 6'4". And until we do, we're not going to compete with these teams like Norway, Belgium, England. And, again, you mentioned Norway. I mean, they're just a bunch of, 6'3" to 6'5" dudes out there who are their country's A-level athletes. So they can give England all they can handle. And that's why I went total. I lean England, but I am not going to be shocked at all if Norway finds a way to win this.
The second game on Saturday will be Argentina versus Switzerland. Watching Argentina. How are you looking at this one? It looks like the over-under, which seems unanimous with over-under, Scott, is 2.5, which has been pretty much at the under these last. Well, aside from the Belgium-USA game, have been pretty much on par, have they not?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's been a very chalky World Cup, which means, of course, the favorites have been winning. And also, the totals have been right around 2.5. We've seen a lot of games landing around that total. And, of course, Argentina's a heavy favorite in this one. They're minus $1.45. The comeback on Switzerland is plus $4.85. And for those listening who might be new to this, that would mean for every $100 you bet, you would get back $485 plus your bet money if the Swiss would happen to win. Argentina, heavy favorite. They haven't lived up to their role as chalk. I mean, other than the fact they found a way to win those last couple of matches, but they've been on the ropes in the last two matches. And, you keep playing with fire, you're about to get burned. But for what it's worth, Switzerland hasn't trailed at any time in their 5 World Cup matches. They're the only team that can say that. They're content with a counterattack, but they're missing guys. This is what's going to cost them, I think, quite a bit. They're missing Johan Manzambi for this match, and that's huge. He's their best attacker. He's been on the field for all 9 Switzerland goals. And then as far as Messi's concerned, he finally got help on the attack end in the tournament. But it was desperation time in those closing 15 to 20 minutes in the win over Egypt. But he finally got some help on the offensive end. Couple of interesting bets, guys, that I like here. Lionel Messi to score, minus $1.05, and Argentina to win plus over 1.5 goals. If you parlay that, it's plus 120, so $120 for every 100 you bet. I like those, especially Lionel Messi to score, and you're only laying $105 to win 100. I mean, you would think if Argentina wins this match, he's going to have something to do with it.
Oh, no question. All right, Scott, let's talk about the other sport called football and the NFL and regular season win total betting lines for the upcoming season. Because there's some interesting numbers, of course, here locally. Arizona, I saw 4.5, and the under was listed with minus 145. So the market is expecting that the Arizona's going to finish with 4 wins or fewer, which I think most of us do too. But they do have home games against the Jets and the Raiders, so that could be 2, and they could get lucky on a couple others. So when you look at some of these lines, Giants over 7.5, Rams over 10. The one I find is interesting is the Chiefs over under 10.5, where you go there with Mahomes back. Where are you looking? Is there a team that's standing out that you're jumping on?
Well, first of all, the Chiefs, I think you can run out and make a 15-1 bet on them winning the Super Bowl with all the improvements they've made in the offseason and a healthy Mahomes. I think that'd be an undervalued. Okay. I did make one bet thus far on the wins totals, and I'll be piling these up over the next couple of weeks. But I played the Eagles over their wins total. Now, if you go to the book, you're going to see 10.5 wins. Okay. And you're going to see minus $1.45. The juice is on the under, but you can play alternate totals. And I played over 9.5 wins and laid it's minus 140. So you're laying $14 to win 10, basically, if that's what you're playing at that level. But over 9.5 is what I did. And they faced an ultra tough schedule last year. They're facing the 5th easiest schedule this year. They're projected to be favored in 14 of their 17 games as of early July. So, over under being 9.5, the alternate total, I think that's a value there on the Eagles. The ground game, they crashed and burned last year. That has to be worked out. But Lane Johnson fought injuries. He's healthy. He's 36, but man, he still grades among the elite offensive right tackles in the NFL, anchors the right side of that offensive line. His leverage, if you watch when he's healthy last year, still the best in the game. And I look at their record when Lane Johnson plays, 120 wins, 62 losses. When he doesn't play, 19-29. He's healthy. I think he can stick around. And I know the defense lost some guys. They lost Phillips, Dean, Blankenship. Some of their metrics dropped off. They also finished 8-4 in one-possession games, and that tends to go the other way a little bit with a lot of teams. But Fangio's still running the show on the defensive side of the football. They picked up a couple of nice athletes on defense. I think that they're going to end up winning probably 11 games. So I feel pretty safe at over 9.5 on that alternate total.
You know, Scott, one of the teams that's got a lot of chatter is the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, Joe Burrow, can they get it turned around? If Taylor doesn't get it turned around, he could be gone. You look at some of the additions in the offseason. They finally get rid of their defensive end. He's gone. Are you a believer? I don't know what their over-under is as far as win totals are concerned, but this is the most chatter I've seen with the Bengals. They're talking about potential Super Bowl run once again.
Yeah, I'm not there yet, guys. I like, obviously, we all like Joe Burrow and his, style of play and his confidence, his talent. I like Zach Taylor as head coach, but the organization did make some moves in the offseason, but I still think they're short on defense. And, that's been their won't, as Howard Cosell used to say, W-O-N-T, and so I'm sitting there and I'm looking at what they've done in the offseason, and I'm not quite there yet. I think they'll be better than last year, obviously, but until they make moves on defense that I think takes them to the next level and then some, it's going to be one of those situations where Joe Burrow's scrambling for his life on offense and the defense gives up too many big plays. And, I think they'll be better, but I'm not there yet. I haven't made any move on their over-under wins total, but I lean towards the under, even though I think they're going to be a little bit better than last year. And I might change my mind in the past couple of weeks. I'll be diving into them a little bit more.
McGregor fight tomorrow. What do you like? After 5 years, he's back. He's already talking crap, all that fun stuff. What do you think about this one?
I like his style. I like what he brought to the sport. He's the Muhammad Ali of the UFC. The confidence, the cockiness, the arrogance. But my gosh, this money that's been pouring in on McGregor, I think, is foolish, guys.
Really?
Maybe he comes out. He's got to go for that knockout right away. He doesn't. I don't think he's got the stamina to go, an entire 25 minutes with a guy like Max Holloway. So I think you could get fortunate if you're backing McGregor to where he might land some kind of KO early in the fight. But if he doesn't, don't forget, the last time we saw him in the cage, so to speak, was 5 years ago, and he took 2 beatings, in about a 6-month period. And he had a broken leg in one of those fights. So I just think that the money at this point, the value, I should say, is on Max Holloway. And here's why. And I don't usually say that when you're talking about a guy who's a minus 230 to minus 250 favorite. But at some of the books, when this first opened, you had to lay $550 to win 100 on Max Holloway. He was a minus 550 favorite. You now lay 230 on Max Holloway to win 100, which means this money's just been pouring in on Conor McGregor. I don't agree with it. I think Holloway lasts that first round. McGregor goes for the knockout, and eventually Holloway wears him down. I don't think McGregor's got it in the gas tank to go the full, 25 minutes in this fight.
So how do you bet it? What are you suggesting here? When you look at it on your app, you got a point spread at McGregor 5.5. You got the over at the total rounds at 2.5. How are you educate me on how to bet it?
I like Holloway at minus. I'm looking at my screen now. I see as low as minus 220, which means you got to lay $220 to win 100. And that's here in town at the station casinos. They've got a low price like that. So if you're in Arizona or whatever, you're probably not going to find that low of a price. But there are 230s and 240s out there. And again, when you go from minus 550 to minus 230, if you like McGregor, you missed the boat. It sailed because you could have got a huge price, underdog price on Conor McGregor, and you can't now. So value for me is on Max Holloway. I actually ran into McGregor a while back at a local casino here at an oyster bar, and he had his boys with him. There was about 5 of them, and I got to tell you, a personable guy and was really cool sitting at the oyster bar talking to everybody and chatting. Cocky as heck, no doubt about it still, but a really good, approachable guy. But I just don't think he's got the stamina to last. Last time we saw him 5 years ago, he gets knocked around in 2 fights in less than a year.
Yeah, Scott, real quick, All-Star Game, home run hitting contest on Monday, the game on Tuesday. What kind of play is going on? Is it mostly props? Is there any action on the game itself or home run hitters? Or how's that looking right now?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I won't even look at that till probably Sunday night as far as the home run props and things of that nature. I haven't seen anything yet. coming out on the props for that game. But it's always fun, and a lot of times I just play fun money. Some guys will go in big with some of these home run props. For me, it's a good time. It's entertainment. I can spend what I would spend on going to a movie and just have some fun with it, with those home run props. But nothing that I've seen thus far that warrants a wager.
Scott, appreciate you, man. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Good luck.
Scott Spreitzer, DocSports.com. You follow him at Scott Wins on Twitter. So Eagles, huh?
Yeah, he likes the over on your Eagles.
Yeah, and I just put the bet in and I messed up.
Did you go under?
By accident.
Oh, with your Eagles or the McGregor?
With
the Eagles.
The Eagles.
Oh, he just told you. Over.
I know. I hit the wrong button.
Oh,
I thought I went with the over and I went with the under.
So no,
lost $100.
No mulligans in gambling.
No, you can't. I mean, I literally it was like it just showed my receipt within like seconds. It's like son of a
big thumbs, Rock.
It doesn't let you cash out this early on.
Oh, will it let me do that?
Are you on DraftKings?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should. It should. I mean, the season's not for so long.
I'm going to be cashing out like on day one.
You can't take the under on your football team.
I know. I'm pissed. It was a waste. I just deposited more money, too. I haven't been having much success.
Those big thumbs is.
Son of a. I mean, yeah, dude, if I cash out, I'm going to figure out how to do that as we speak during the break.
Yeah, if you look at your bet slip, there should be a big green button, and it should offer you all the money back because the season's so far.
Oh, it is. Cash out $100 confirm.
Ooh.
Sweet.
Thank you, Laz.
Dude, you're a degenerate.
You're good for something.
So
I cashed out a few bets here and there.
So Max Holloway on DraftKings was minus 250. He was talking 230.
He's a lock.
I think you're right. I should have more money. Dude, I'm so glad I got out of that bet. That would have ruined my day. All right. France beat Morocco yesterday. Spain beat Belgium today. Tomorrow it's Norway, England, Argentina, Switzerland. We'll get into that next for our Twin Peaks World Cup soccer update powered by Michelob Ultra.
Now open in North Scottsdale. It's the Orangedale Lounge. ODs. Right off Thompson Peak and Bell. Next to Bash's. Your new favorite dive bar has arrived. Cold drafts, chill vibes, always affordable prices, and the OD Mug Club. A one-of-a-kind membership you won't find anywhere else. No frills. Just great people, ice-cold drinks, and a bar that feels like it's always been there. Follow at OD Scottsdale and get the scoop at orangedalelounge.com. Orangedale Lounge. Dive in and drink up.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Water is Arizona's most valuable resource. And for over a century, Phoenix has led the way in providing reliable water services. Wherever you call home in Arizona, we all share the responsibility to conserve for tomorrow. Watch your water use, especially outdoors. Consider desert-friendly landscaping and water-saving appliances. Together, small changes can make a big difference. Learn more at phoenix.gov/water and help secure Arizona's water future. This message is sponsored by the City of Phoenix Water Services Department.
Are you a dementia caregiver? Perhaps you care for your spouse, family member, or friend. Whoever it is, being a dementia caregiver can build relationships and test them. I'm Bill, and I want to thank you for the care you have provided. I have faced similar situations, so I'm speaking on behalf of the Dementia Society of America, a nonprofit organization. Request our free guide filled with tips on care, planning, and much more. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
Life can throw a lot your way. For some, that includes first episode psychosis, or FEP. It can feel overwhelming, like hearing or seeing things that aren't there, or feeling disconnected from reality. The good news? FEP can be treated. Recovery can include medication, therapy, and support from peers. There are programs across Arizona with people who understand and are ready to walk with you. It all starts with one click. Visit learnmorefep.org. Sponsored by MacForce, working to build healthier communities.
I work for the Arizona Department of Public Safety Commercial Vehicle Enforcement Unit. Any idea why I stopped you today?
No, sir.
I stopped you for distracted driving. Arizona law prohibits the use of electronic devices unless they're hands-free. Truck drivers see everything, except their blind spots. Cutting off a truck is like cutting off a freight train. It's dangerous, so stay focused on the road. Visit sharetheroadaz.com to learn how to drive truck smart.
Sponsored by the Arizona Trucking Association Foundation and the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety.
U.S. is on the world stage, and there's a lot to get to. This is your World Cup Soccer Update, powered by Twin Peaks. 5 locations across the valley showing you every match. And Michelob Ultra, pouring all summer long. Let's get you caught up.
He crosses it in, knocked away by Mozraoui. Manuch hits it back in. Due able to find Mbappe through traffic. 20 career World Cup goals. Gives France the lead in the quarterfinals.
All right, let's get to our World Cup update. Thanks to Michelob Ultra. First, even though Team USA, of course, they're out and they lost to Belgium. Belgium lost today. Americans watched in record numbers. The round of 16 match drew approximately 42 million total viewers across Fox, Telemundo, Peacock, and other platforms, making it the most watched U.S. soccer match in American history. Fox alone averaged 30 million viewers, and the audience peaked at about 37 million, which is another English language record. And you ask yourself, who cares? Why does it matter? Well, this wasn't just a soccer milestone. It was a TV milestone. I mean, USA-Belgium topped the NBA Finals, the World Series, and the Stanley Cup Final. Of course, no one can touch the Super Bowl, but I believe the World Cup has officially become one of America's biggest television events.
I would agree with that. Even with it being on U.S. soil, I think those numbers would probably still be the same. But I think that
it depends on the time.
That's true. Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's another thing. When you look at the time when they're playing overseas, these games are at 1 o'clock in the morning. Whatever it may be.
Yeah, because were they 9 hours ahead, I believe, over in Europe right now. And
depends on what part of Europe.
Yeah, they were. You'd see some of the Belgians and the Spaniards and all those over in Europe. 8, 9 hours ahead. They're up at 3, 4 in the morning. You watch these games, and I think it's just for me just to watch the excellence of the athletes themselves, and then to watch these stars. And we got 4 or 5 stars that if you look at any particular team, we talk about Messi and Romero and Fernandez with Argentina. Think of Holland. I mean, Holland seems to be that star that's been known internationally.
Just has that look.
Yeah, he's got that look, that size, that appeal. And they asked him, never forget this. They're interviewing him, and they say, "How do you pattern your game, or what do you?" He goes, "I don't know. I just get out there, I run, I kick, and it goes in." I mean, I'm sure it's more to his game than that, but I mean, just his humility about that, I think, has been very endearing for a lot of novice soccer fans. There's soccer fans that know him on the international stage, and obviously Messi and Ronaldo and Mbappe and Kane and some of those guys that are becoming household names that are novice soccer fans here in the States who are known internationally. Why? They can rattle those guys off.
So, of course, as I mentioned, Spain, they're heading to the World Cup Finals. Somewhat of a dramatic finish over Belgium 2-1, thanks to a late goal in the 88th minute. The goalkeeper for Belgium was forced to leave in the second half because of a thigh injury. He had a replacement came in, and there was a long shot in the 82nd minute, and one of the guys from Spain basically pounced on the rebound, which ended up being the game-winning goal. And it's his Marino, I believe is how you say his last name, his second straight knockout round winner as he beat Portugal in round of 16. So the victory, this is huge. Spain's unbeaten streak is now 37 matches, and they will face France in the blockbuster semi, which will be next week.
Yeah, Tuesday at noon, that big game will be happening, and it's. Think about that. You got a semi on noon. You got the All-Star game at night. So it's gonna be a great sports day.
I'm glad they're doing it the way they're doing it, because it'd be interesting if they would have challenged. They went up against and made it a primetime. They could have done that.
They could have. I mean, but in Fox versus ESPN for that particular side, I agree with you. I'm just glad that there'll be nothing happening at nighttime. And then they'll take advantage of that.
There will be. You got the World Series.
Well, World Series.
I mean, the All-Star game.
Yeah, at night. At least it's at nighttime. That's what I'm saying. I'm glad they're having it at noon, and then they're going to have the All-Star game at nighttime. So now we're seeing the cream of the crop. Now you're looking at a couple of teams with France and Spain and you just, heck, it may come down to 0-0 and come down to a shootout. That's what would be fun. I would love to see something like that in the semi, that they'd have a shootout for that, to be all tied up, and then just come down to the 2 stars to see who wins that match.
So just to put things in perspective, the reason why the game is on and during the afternoon is Fox has the World Series this year. So with Fox having the World Series, of course, they're not. You had to do it this way.
Sure, yeah.
So Fox is going to make a lot of money on Tuesday. A lot of money.
Also, that way it's an 8 o'clock kickoff in France and in Spain also. So those people overseas don't have to stay up too late also.
Because the All-Star game starts at 5 our time. So then you said noon our time?
Noon our time, yeah.
Yeah, so that's perfect. That may be one. I may need to. I'm getting sick.
I hope not.
No, I am. I won't have to work.
Oh,
should call out sick on Tuesday. Just imagine that.
Yeah.
If you're into that, you got World Cup semis, France and Spain, and then you got the All-Star game, which is, arguably the best All-Star game of all of them, right?
So cough just happens to kick in on Monday night.
Yeah,
you know,
like, Manuch.
Yeah, we got you covered, Roc.
All right, good. How about Jimmy B? Is he still all right?
Yeah, Jimmy B's all right. He had a little under the weather. He sucked it up, didn't he, Laz, on Wednesday?
I didn't know he was sick, to be honest.
I said, you all right, Jimmy? He goes, just a little under the weather. Here's his excuse. Well, he and Kim drove over to San Diego. He goes, well, I think it's the drive over and back I got sick.
How? You're in a car. You wear a mask?
Exactly.
You tell them to wear a mask.
You've been golfing.
Be one of those guys.
You've been golfing. You're on the beach. You're out and about. How do you get sick on vacation, for crying out loud?
All right. Coming up in the 3 o'clock hour, former Cardinals quarterback John Skelton. Get his thoughts on the quarterback battle. But first, it's the feed. And the feed, yes. What the hell's the feed? Well, I've been scrolling for you. Off-the-wall stories that kind of just blow up online. And I'll highlight some of the ones that are going viral. This stuff you're going to talk about probably at happy hour. It's kind of fun stuff. So I call it the feed, and we'll dig into it next. It's Roc and Manuch out here, right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. And where's Mr. Softy? Where is Mr. Softy today? How do you take it? It's 114 out. Mr. Softy should be here. He usually comes at 2:15. He's really late.
It's a violation. Bad.
I want to comb.
It's summertime, and Aleve is here to keep you on the go. Whether it's planes, trains, or automobiles, Aleve's got your back. With up to 12 hours of back pain relief with just 1 dose, you'll get to your destination and be ready for your next adventure. So pack your sunscreen, your shades, and your Aleve. No matter where your final stop, Aleve will keep you moving. From sun up to sundown, Aleve's got your back this summer. Feel Aleve. Use as directed for minor aches and pains.
Progressive presents perfectly bad excuses for missing stuff to spend more time on your motorcycle.
Hey, Tom, gonna miss the 5K. Gotta organize my vitamins. A, B, C. There's so many. D.
Now that was a bad excuse. If you love your vehicle this much, get customized coverage from Progressive, America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company of affiliates, not available in D.C.
Most families get their financial advice in pieces. A financial advisor here, a CPA there, an estate attorney somewhere else. Everyone means well, but nobody's talking to each other, and those gaps can work against you. Trajan Wealth's family office brings wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning together, not as separate conversations, but as one coordinated system built around your life, your goals, and the people who matter most. Ours is a true family office, not one that refers you out because it's convenient. This kind of dedicated collaboration used to require a 7-figure net worth, but here's the game changer. Trajan kicked that door open. Trajan advisors are fiduciaries, always obligated, always honored to act in your best interest. Unlock your Trajan family office at TrajanWealth.com or call 1-855-TRAJAN-1. That's 1-855-TRAJAN-1.
Advisory services through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Other services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6:30 p.m. with $2 off well drinks and $2 off domestic drafts, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. Let's check the feed. I've been out there scrolling so you don't have to. Every sport, every story, everything blowing up online right now. The highlights, the hot takes, the viral moments, the stuff you're going to be talking about all day. It's all coming across the feed. Here's what's buzzing in the sports world. Let's dig in.
All right. Dug in for you. Because Manuch waits for this, looks forward to it, because he only goes to one website, that's ESPN.com. What are you on right now? ESPN.com. It's all your tabs right now are all ESPN. You don't go to anything else. You just do what everybody else in the world does and go to ESPN.
And I do go to
just kind of like
NFL.com, Yahoo, NBC Sports.
NBC Sports.
I get out there.
All right. So the Carolina Hurricanes won their first cup in 20 years. And their owner, Tom Dundon, decided to take a moment by putting his wife and all 5 of his kids on the cup, some as young as 7, ahead of his players. So you have the Dundon family ate up the first 2 lines, 90 characters. And here's the kicker. There's a 55 name limit. So real hockey people got bumped to make room.
Wow. That's just wrong.
Like a longtime equipment manager who was with the franchise, freaking the Hartford Whalers, his name was on there. I mean, a player who suited up for 38 games, gone. Even 3 of the team's own minority owners were left out. That's totally screwed up.
That's just wrong, Rock. That is so wrong.
Why don't you put your kids on this? I understand to do a replica. I mean,
replica, yeah.
I mean, seriously,
that is just talk about. I don't know the ego, the selfishness, or the selfishness, I should say, that you would do that and ignore some of the prominent members of that team. That's just beyond reproach. And as far as a lot of guys say that they won despite the ownership, the ownership group, that makes total sense when they talk about him.
Travis Kelce, of course, married Taylor Swift. If you didn't know that, just breaking
news.
Yeah,
where you been?
Last Friday at Madison Square Garden. Reportedly, it was a $30 million wedding and about 1,000 guests. Patrick Mahomes showed up in a blue tux with a hublot, and I hope that's how you say it. It's a watch that is worth $362,000. There's only one of 50 ever made. No dial. Wow. The thing tells time by a rotating display. His wife Brittany, her outfit ran about $100,000 on its own, and she had some kind of necklace that was north of $96,000. I guess when your contract's worth $500 million, I guess you could buy anything you like.
I guess if you got it, you flaunt it, right, Rock? I mean, a $300,000 watch, the necklace, the dress, all the above. Now, to your point, you're going to make $500 million, even less the taxes. You're at $250 million. I think that it's one of those kind of situations. I'm sure there was security around them, even if they go out with that kind of bling on their arm or neck.
All right, since 5 years since he snapped his leg in UFC 264, McGregor returns tomorrow, UFC 329. Max Holloway will be his opponent. And Dana White from the UFC says it's the biggest gate the promotion has ever had, $25 million, blowing past what they had at the Spear, and it's the cheapest seat on the resale market, over $900. And the wild part, even with McGregor headlining, CBS is passing on the simulcast. They're going to run NCIS in 48 hours instead. I mean, come on.
You know, you look at this fight and you go, McGregor, obviously he's going to draw a crowd, whether you like him or not. He's very vociferous, but he sells, to that point. I even had some people go, didn't he get indicted on sexual assault and beating up the partner a few years ago? Why is he not in jail?
Yeah.
Well, why is he still fighting? So there's that half the crowd as well, too. That's why this guy's such a lightning rod.
The expansion race is heating up. There's a new group in Las Vegas. They're calling themselves the Las Vegas Jacks, as in the playing card. And what's great about it, and it plays off the WNBA's Vegas Aces, so that works out well. But the guy that's fronting this whole thing is Jerry Colangelo, the man who built the Phoenix Suns. He's teamed up with a group that says they've already raised $8 billion. Meanwhile, you got the Sonics. There's a lot of talk there. They only have one bidder right now. But Jerry and his group, and Jerry's just
$8 billion.
He's in his 80s.
Yeah, 80.
And he's still going so strong. I'm sure he's still on the treadmill every morning doing his thing.
He's 86, by the way, Rob.
And he is sharp as a nail. And here he is. He knows everybody. He's got all the connections. And we all know basketball in Vegas will absolutely just go bonkers. It'll do so well there.
$8 billion, and then on top of that, I believe they're looking to buy some land and build a facility. You already got T-Mobile, and there's a couple other venues that are there. But what they're saying is, look, here's our entry fee. We'll build a brand new arena that'll be focused on the basketball team, and I'm sure there'll be other things they're going to do. But by the time you're in and out of that, maybe it's $1 billion to build an arena, or maybe $500 million for something like that. You're into this bad boy for $10 billion. I think there's like 3 or 4 partners that are involved.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe they're also bidding against a couple of prominent individuals, a couple of different owners that are also the owner for the Knights. He's also in the bid for this thing. Hell, Rock, this thing could get bid up to $10 billion, basic $10 billion when they sit there and get these bids. Magic Johnson's got a group that he's looking to bid on this thing. And you're right. Whoever gets this franchise, I mean, this is a home run, for that standpoint.
And then you got Seattle. Seattle's got 2 teams, 2 billionaires that are trying to buy them, and that's upwards to $8 to $10 billion. So I'm wondering if you're looking at, some ballpark values right now when you look at NBA teams. The NFL, the average team value is roughly $7 billion. The NBA is 5.4. Now the lowest is kind of in that $5 to $6 billion, and then when it comes to the NBA, it's about $3.5 billion. So the Cowboys are at the peak right now. They're the highest valued at $13 billion. And the Warriors are about $11 billion. So that's pretty big. If you remember, the Lakers majority sale with that value, that went recently? That went for $10 billion. Celtics went for $6 billion. The Suns? They sold for $4 billion in 2023. Mavs, the controlling stake, they sold for roughly $3.5 billion last year. So the Commanders are the most recent team that sold $6 billion. So Seattle will get 8 to 10.
I'm just wondering why that Seattle Seahawks situation hasn't closed yet, especially after they've been away.
It's not like buying a house.
No, I know that.
I
get it. I understand the dynamics.
It was public. What, the day after the
Super
Super Bowl?
It was. I mean, right after. I mean, so
they've 4 months ago.
They've been to 3 Super Bowls. They've won 2. Doesn't look like they're going anywhere fast in that NFC West. I guess if I'm a billionaire and I get my billionaire buddies, and obviously you look at the rate of return for, you're going to go basketball, you're going to go football. What's my greatest rate of return? You just went with the values, how they've jumped per team. So let's say Seattle sells for $8 billion, or let's say 7. So in 5 years, if these guys want to sell, make their money back, will it be at, let's say, I don't know, $9 to $10 billion to get that return on their value? If the teams continue to be successful, they keep up the stadium, and they keep up a pretty good core nucleus group of players, I would think so. But the Cowboys are they've been the Cowboys, win, lose, draw, no matter what. Think about that. $10 billion. They haven't been to a Super Bowl since 1996, let alone barely won a playoff game. But that value's still there because they're the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry's done a good job of marketing. Even prior to that, they were the Cowboys just based on their own merit from the games. Clinton Richardson was that owner. He didn't market them. They just were it was just America's team. They threw that out there, and all of a sudden people bought into it, America's team.
Ron Wolfley, of course, over at 98.7, dear friend, and I wish he was on our show because then I'm just going to rip him on this anyway. But when we were doing radio together for about 5 years, I used to haze him a lot because he used to drive a Jeep.
Okay.
All right. He used to drive this Jeep, right? Just
regular old
Jeep, hardcore. Okay. He's a guy, just a hardcore guy from northern New York, right? But
Buffalo,
yeah,
kid.
Buffalo area, and he had a Dallas Cowboy frame around his license plate.
Really?
And he never played for the Cowboys.
What?
Probably similar to your wife. Your wife likes the Cowboys, right? I think maybe his wife liked the Cowboys. But I'll never forget. I don't know why I just thought of that, but I always remember. I'm like, I wish if you're listening, Wolf. 602-266.
He had a Cowboy frame on the.
Yeah, like I have Ohio University around mine.
Sure,
right?
yeah.
And you got nothing, but you got Right Toyota, so you're helping.
I got the Toyota, yeah.
Yeah, he used to have. Here's this former NFL player cruising around in a Jeep that had Cowboys around.
Can't you lose your Cardinals man card for something like that? I did not know that.
By the way, guys, that was a long time ago. That was in the 90s. So.
That's right. Lloyd grew up a Cowboy fan. Everybody in Dallas or everybody in Texas is a Cowboy fan. You might have had a couple here and there that were Houston before they moved to Tennessee. Now you got the Houston Texans. Not the same thing. So it's pretty much.
Pads go on in 12 days or so. Cardinals walk into camp with more questions than answers. We'll get into some of the top 5 questions entering the Cardinals training camp, and then we'll catch up with John Skelton. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B out here at Wright Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price, Wright Toyota in Scottsdale.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Bigger fields, bigger events, bigger experiences. Arizona Athletic Grounds. Arizona Athletic Grounds is a 275-acre sports and entertainment destination for athletes, fans, and families. Located in Mesa, AAG is one of the largest multi-sport complexes in the country, with over 475,000 square feet indoors and more than 150 fields and courts. From tournaments to training to cheer, dance, concerts, and corporate events, the grounds does it all. Learn more at azgrounds.com.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
We get it. A meal shouldn't cost you nearly $20. And we agree. At Venezia's Pizzeria, lunch or dinner for under $10 is still a thing. And for an even sweeter deal, stop in and grab a Slice Rewards card. Get a stamp for every qualifying Slice special. 10 visits, 1 free qualifying special. Simple. And every Tuesday, we double your stamps. That's your free pizza twice as fast. Venezia's Pizzeria, a family tradition with great rewards.
Before you fly, take a trip to your local MVD office or authorized third-party provider with your required documents and get the new AZ Travel ID with the Gold Star for your new driver's license or ID. Starting May 2025, this new AZ Travel ID gets you through TSA security checkpoints. It's quick and easy. Think of it as your license to fly. Learn how to get your new ID at aztravelid.com. Sponsored by ADOT in partnership with the Arizona Broadcasters Association and this station.
If gambling is no longer entertaining, you have options to help you take back the game.
In Arizona, self-exclusion is a voluntary and confidential program that allows you to exclude yourself from gambling at Arizona casinos, betting at Arizona sportsbooks, or both. Getting started is simple, and support is always available. Head to gaming.az.gov/exclude to learn more about self-exclusion in Arizona. For 24/7 problem gambling support, text Next Step to 53342, sponsored by the Arizona Department of Gaming.
In Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
All right, we're just around the corner, 12 days out. There's a lot to sort out here in the desert.
Music to my ears, Rob.
Biggest questions Cardinals will have to answer once the pad goes on. Number one, of course, no question. Does his contract mess get resolved? Will Jacoby Brissett skip chunks as he skipped a chunk of the offseason program? Of course, the pay dispute will be settled. Will there be the right type of chemistry that's needed with the receivers? Camp basically is that deadline.
I think he gets it done, Rock. I think maybe next week sometime, as you mentioned, 12 days until they have to report. I think the first open practice over at State Farm is the 24th. Yeah, I think they get this done because I think right now, out of those three, I really feel that Jacoby Brissett is I like him better than Minshew, and obviously you got the rookie and Carson Beck. So I think what you can do is a lot of people say, whatever, as you mentioned, the timing, the chemistry. You get that developed because they've got 4 preseason games. So that's an extra week of practice. But I feel he's got to get this done by next Friday or Saturday because they report, the following Thursday, the 22nd, that they get this done. Everybody get in camp, Mike LaFleur and his staff. You got Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator. You got Matt Schaub as the quarterback coach. Get everybody in. Give the guy a bump. I mean, give him some extra money. Give him some extra incentives. Go get it done for the sake of your team, Michael Bidwell and Monty Austin Ford. Go get this thing done. I mean, it's almost borderline ridiculous. Fans out there are saying this, going, look, even though he won one out of 12 games, the offense moved. He's proven he can throw the ball. He can read defenses. He can move the ball. It's just a matter of now putting it all together. And what also will help that is if you have a running game that you can get that going as well with Jeremiah Love.
Well, let's talk about that because that's my number 2. How does this running back room kind of shake out? You got the incumbent, James Conner. Does he lose his job on day one?
I believe so. Yes, absolutely.
Got to put your first rounder in there, right?
First rounder up there. The guy can catch, he can run, he can block. Now, James Conner, it can do all that as well too, but he's just lost a step. He just doesn't look the same. You got a guy in Jeremiah Love who's is a home run hitter, okay, and then you also got Tyler Algier who can move the pie. He's a strong runner.
Free agent.
He's a free agent
that
they signed. And then you got the Trey Benson situation, Rock, for me is a mystery. I don't know.
He's not even in the book. I mean, in the room.
He's if you got
you saw some glimpses of him.
Yeah. If they keep Connor, if they keep him, he would be my number 3, and then Trey Benson, unless they decide that we can get something for James Conner, a team that's going to be very competitive in the hunt for a playoff. Maybe you trade him. But with Trey Benson, he's still kind of a mystery as if he can stay healthy, what has he done and what can he do? But what will help the offense is you have to establish some kind of running game in order to have this offense, this weaponry that you have to throw the ball, but you can't do that unless you can run the ball. But I think Jeremiah Love can run it, he can catch it, and the biggest thing is you just got to make sure you don't overuse the kid early on, Rock. If you can touch it 20-ish times a game, 15 to 20 times a game, that's a good sample size of Jeremiah Love.
All right, number 3, can Mike LaFleur's new offense get the playmakers rolling? We know what Trey McBride can do. Of course, last year, the tight end set a catch record, but Marvin Harrison Jr., year 3, new system, new coordinator. What are you seeing here?
It's interesting with coming from the LA Rams. you pose that question. I think, well, you had a guy named Matthew Stafford that ran that offense that Mike LaFleur and Sean McVay were running over there in L.A. Guy's smart, understands it, he sees it, bang. The weaponry they had, Kupp, Nakua, the tight end. I mean, they had good, solid receivers, even Devontae when he was there. But you had Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew are not Matthew Stafford. That being said, it's gonna really depend on this offensive line, as I mentioned, not only running, but also throwing the ball, the protection, to make sure that Jacoby Brissett understands what he's saying and gets the ball out like Matthew Stafford did. Now, here's the dilemma. If Jacoby Brissett is missing all of this school time, or I call study time with the new offense, that's a factor. I mean, Matthew Stafford made the trade. He got to L.A. right away and started sitting down and working with Sean McVay. Lo and behold, they make the trade, they win a Super Bowl. So I feel that if this team's going to have any kind of success, win 4, 5, 6 games, whatever that is, and Jacoby Brissett's your guy, he's got to get his butt in, understand what this offense is all about, work with his receivers, and know where to go with the ball, because not that LA Rams offense is complicated, good running game, solid passing game, Matthew Stafford, a potential Hall of Famer. That's where this all comes into play, Rock, is understanding this offense to get anything even close to what the LA Rams are all about.
All right, number 4. Who wins the outside linebacker room? Josh Sweat is the anchor. Has 12 sacks last year, forced 4 forced fumbles. You got some options: Collins, Browning, Birch. It's a crowded room. Which of these guys are going to step up?
I think on one side, the strong side, you'll have Sweat, and on the weak side, you'll have Josh Sweat. Strong side linebacker will be Zaven Collins. Those two are set. Now, the guy that I think everybody's looking at is draft choice from last year, Jordan Birch. I mean, he's one of those kids that, they're taking a good hard look at. And then, on top of that, Baron Browning, he's another solid backup for this team. So I think those two outside linebackers, one weak side, one on the strong side, for a 34 front. So if it's a 4-3 front, you'll see Josh Sweat go down as a defensive end and Zaven Collins on the other end. So you'll have Roy Lopez on the inside, and you'll have Walter Nolan III, and then you have Darius Robinson. So you got Sweat, Lopez, Nolan III, and Robinson. But if they decide to go to a 3-4, you got a combination of Cody Simon, Sweat, and Zaven Collins. But it's all about those front guys, those basic dudes, 3 or 4 dudes up front, to create havoc, or at least press in the backfield to really try to put pressure on the quarterback or stop the run. I think the biggest thing that's really coming back is when you look at the middle linebacker, Mack Wilson Sr., he's really the influence. He's the quarterback for that defense. When he's at that Mike linebacker, that's where this defense had a lot of success in a lot of the games that were really close in early in the season. But when he got hurt, they really struggled, with guys like, Jack Gibbons or Austin Keys, who had to play that Mike linebacker role, who really struggled. So that group of guys I talked about have got to stay healthy if this defense is going to have any kind of formidable way of stopping other teams.
And then lastly, the young corners. Will Johnson as a rookie flash. He did have, but still, they don't have a first pick back there. And, I'm not sure if this is a secondary that's going to get beat quite a bit, because there really aren't some big names out there at corner.
Well, you got two rookies supposed to start. You just mentioned Will Johnson.
Burke, who's Denzel
Burke on the other side. And, we talked about Max Melton yesterday with Howard Balzer.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of lost favor, got dinged, got hurt. So also you got Starling Thomas V will be back, coming off of his injury. So, again, when you have young corners and a guy like Will Johnson, who was injured in college and injured last year, you better have a rush, at least initially, to help protect those two young guys on the outside, to press the quarterback, push the pocket, get those quarterbacks unsettled. And I think with that particular area of them incorporating will help those young corners. Trust me, for a cornerback, I don't care if you're a 10-year vet where you're a second-year player. That pass rush will help cover up a lot of those outstanding receivers that they're going to face. But I do feel pretty good about Buda Baker as a safety. Here's the key. You lost Jalen Thompson. You lost your free safety. And Andrew Wingard, Dadian Taylor Dermerson, who played a little bit. Blount played a little bit. I don't know if they're the guys. And Jalen Thompson and Buda Baker as the safeties really played off one another pretty good. So, yeah, there's some holes. Not so much to be filled, but some question marks in some of those positions.
Yeah, there's your 5. That's the 5 questions. So,
and those are things I'm sure Monty Ossenfort is looking at as to, okay, you bring Nick Rawlis back as your defensive coordinator. Did not agree with that whatsoever. The way that this team defense really faded. So maybe again, giving a guy, there's a coach that got a mulligan when everybody else got fired. That's going to come back. And Monty Ossenfort's going, a lot of guys are coming back. A lot of guys have got experience. And we're going to pretty much roll with it. Keep Josh Sweat. You have to keep Josh Sweat. And just give Nick Rawls another chance to right a lot of the wrongs he did in calling the defense last year.
All right. Biggest question mark, though, still is who's under center.
Exactly.
And we will talk to John Skelton about that next, right after Laz hooks us up with another ESPN Radio 620 Sports Center update.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's ESPN 620 Sports Center update. I'm Matt Lazarus. The D-backs got back on track last night, salvaging a split of their 4-game series with the Padres behind a quality start from Merrill Kelly and a late solo home run from Nolan Arenado to secure a 3-1 win at Petco Park. Arizona now heads to Los Angeles for a 3-game set with the Dodgers as the D-backs look to build some momentum heading into the All-Star break. First pitch tonight is set for 7:10 with pregame coverage getting underway at 6:30 on 98.7 FM, also streaming live on the Arizona Sports app. This ESPN 620 Sports Center update is powered by Twin Peaks. Nobody does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Tequila cocktails, premium bourbon, top shelf spirits over ice balls, local craft beers, and those famous 29-degree Michelob Ultra and Bud Light drafts. When it comes to happy hour, Twin Peaks doesn't play.
Game on Peoria. When it's time to eat big, drink cold, and watch every play, make it Big's American Bar and Grill in the P83 district. Big's is serving up huge portions of your favorites. Burgers, wings, nachos, plus a full bar and TVs everywhere you look. And don't miss happy hour Monday through Thursday. 3 to 6, plus daily specials all week long. Bring your friends, grab a seat on the patio, and settle in for the game. Big's American Bar and Grill, where Peoria comes to play, eat, and watch.
Join the team at All City Towing, Arizona's largest towing company and leader in roadside service. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service pros ready to grow with us. You'll enjoy state-of-the-art equipment, consistent schedules, full health benefits, a strong 401k match, employer life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Take your career to the next level. Apply today at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is always moving forward.
When hot is not an option, Stay Cool delivers. From patios to warehouses, shops to summer events, Stay Cool's Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube mobile air coolers deliver more air for less money. They're rust-free and backed by more than 40 years of experience keeping you cool. Available now online at Home Depot, Lowe's, and Tractor Supply. Shipped to the store or right to your door. Visit staycool-products.com. Slim Cool Elite and Cool Cube. Get yours today with free shipping and beat the heat. The biggest soccer tournament on the planet is going on, and there's no better place to catch every match than Twin Peaks. Watch all the action on wall-to-wall TVs with ice-cold 29-degree draft beer, made from scratch food, and game day specials all tournament long. Twin Peaks is going unmatched for every match through July 19th. Cheer on Team USA or your favorite country at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views. $5 locations.
Cats are masters at using up their 9 lives, like chasing laser pointers into walls or jumping onto high shelves. But the one thing cats never do, text while driving. So be like a cat and protect your one and only life. Don't text and drive.
Don't drive distracted.
A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
In Arizona, the legal gambling age is 21 and over. But kids can still be exposed to gambling online, even though they're too young to bet. They're not too young to learn how to stay safe online. Parents, help by noticing changes in their behavior and having a simple conversation about the dangers of underage gambling. Visit gaming.az.gov/too-young-to-bet. For 24/7 problem gambling support, text Next Step to 53342, sponsored by the Arizona Department of Gaming.
It's Friday, and the guys are live from Wright Toyota. Right on the corner, right on the price. Wright Toyota, located at 77th Street and Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard in Scottsdale. Now back to the guys on ESPN 620.
Murray takes, play fake. Setting up deep in the pocket, looking, launching, far side into the end zone, and Harrison laying out for it. He got it. Touchdown. What a catch. Marvin Harrison Jr., big time.
The question is, who's going to be throwing him the ball if he's open? And that's the question for John Skelton. By the way, Mike Yam says hello today from the NFL Network. We had him on in the first hour. So Fordham being represented on ESPN Radio Phoenix today, John.
It might be a first, John Skelton.
I like it. 2 Fordham guys out in Phoenix on some local talk radio. I love it.
Gotta love it.
That might be way too much culture for this show, John.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man.
Probably, there are a lot of people are like, "Where's Fordham at?
Yeah.
You know, where is that?
Downtown New York? Or...
Yeah, where is it?
As long as it doesn't turn into like an East Coast sports talk where I'm just mad dogging everyone and talking all sorts of crap about every player that plays the Valley, we'll be all right.
Well, back there on the East Coast in Philly and New York and, of course, Boston, they don't talk. The talk show hosts just answer the calls. All they do is take callers out there. It's just all caller driven, right? I mean, it's just Joe Sixpack giving his comments. But, all right, you walk in the quarterback room, John Skelton. Who's got the edge? Is it Jacoby Brissett? Is it Minshew? Is it the rookie and Beck? Who has the edge today in your mind?
Well, there's an old saying in the NFL, like the best ability is availability. And if you walk in day one and Jacoby's not there, well, you're kind of moving on without him. And then Minshew, he's got a lot of quality starts under his belt. He got paid a decent amount to come over as a potential backup. We'll see how it plays out. And then Carson Beck, really, he's starting at the bottom, and the only way to go is up. So I think right now, as it stands, it's a wide open race, and any one of those 3 guys are going to have a chance to be day one starter, in my opinion.
You know, John, it's interesting what you just said there. Who's ever there? If you're not, we move on. And it seems that some of the rhetoric coming out of the locker room, even though they like Jacoby Brissett, was like, even Trey McBride, hey, look, we're going to go with the guys we have. Love Jacoby. Hopefully he's here. But if not, we feel good about, as you mentioned, Gardner Minshew. But I think that's got to be pretty much, I would think, where things have got to stand right now. And at this point, whoever blinks first, if not, they'll let the door hit you in the rear end on the way out, Jacoby.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. It's not like the quarterback position is the one missing piece that this Cardinals team needs, right? There's going to be a lot of growing pains this year. There's new coaching staff. There's going to be a lot of things that need to go right for this team to be in contention come December for a playoff spot. But whoever's there, it's an audition. You know, you're there in training camp. Someone's got to get the first team reps. And if Jacoby's not there, it's not going to be him. And if you're a rookie quarterback like Carson Beck, you're going to probably run with those 2s and maybe even the 3s. But that opportunity is going to come. And Trey McBride's right. You're going to go with the guys that are there. Everyone loves Jacoby. I think he's a great locker room guy, great leader. I don't think anyone's ever said a bad word about him, even through this quote unquote holdout. But I think it's going to be whoever's in there, and whoever gets that opportunity is going to get a chance to run with it.
And we talked about that in our last segment with Jacoby Brissett, or if he's going to run this offense, he needs to have his butt in there, because everybody's, we got Mike LaFleur, he and McVay, he ran that offense in L.A., and look how well they did. Now, when everybody just pump, the brakes. There's a guy named Matthew Stafford that ran that offense. He was there day one as soon as the trade happened, learning the offense, understanding the offense. Little different venue when you have a Matthew Stafford running an offense that's very complicated, as you know, John, as opposed to a Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew running this offense.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. We're comparing two teams that both play in the NFC West, and that's probably the only thing they have in common, right? They got a coach in McVay who's been doing it long enough, who's had a lot of success. We have a young rookie head coach. McVay went out and traded for Matthew Stafford because he knew he wasn't going to be able to do what he wanted to do with Goff. We're out here, LaFleur's coming in with, you could argue, not a guy that would be a starter on any other team, both backups in Jacoby and Minshew. So it's apples and oranges, but reps, and that's the only way that any of these quarterbacks is going to get better, is running reps with the ones.
John Skelton joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. What's your overall thought on Carson Beck? You know, third rounder out of Georgia, of course, played a lot of college ball, more than most that we see. What's your overall take on him? And then the second part of the question would be, if the Cardinals should end up going down and, like, all right, they get the first pick in next year's draft, and there's some quarterbacks coming out. Do you think they would have taken Carson Beck, knowing that maybe they have a shot at another quarterback the next year?
You're asking that question to a fifth-round quarterback, Manuch. It's like once you get past the first, 15 guys, maybe your top first-round picks, maybe top second round. Once you're in there, it's kind of like, all right, let's see what he's got. He's going to get an opportunity. Sure. But Carson Beck had a ton of starts in college. 7 years, I think he was in college. He played in a lot of big games.
He's going to get a pension, John. He's getting a pension in college, right?
Yeah, he's taking a pay cut to come to the pros as a third-round pick. Go figure. But he's got a lot of experience, and if he can translate that, if he can show some early success in camp, he's going to be, he has an outside shot of being the day one starter. So he'll prepare as a backup, which he did earlier in his college career, and he'll have an opportunity, I think, at some point this year, somewhere towards the middle of the year, maybe a home game after a game that didn't go so well, and they decide to make a change. So I think one way or another, we'll see him on the field during the regular season this year.
We talk about this. You talk about Bo Nix and Purdy and Shuck and Beck and guys that have played 45, 50, 60 games in college. Now they've had elongated careers in college, but still, to your point, John, the reps matter. Understanding offenses, defenses, things might change. But these guys that come in now that have so much success early on, but you got to have the team around you. We get that. But for Carson Beck to come in, to be able to assimilate and understand some things, there are a lot of guys that play maybe just 1 or 2 years of college ball, I think is really the curve change with quarterbacks coming in with so many reps in college.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Manuch. There's defenses now in college, especially if you're looking at the SEC or the Big 12, Big 10, that sometimes they're just as complicated as an NFL defense. You got a lot of coaches that played in the NFL, coached in the NFL, and then jump ship, and now they're coordinators in college. So all those reps are meaningful, whether you're playing, Kent State in September or you're playing in the national championship game. Those are all meaningful reps. You're getting different looks. And that's stuff that cannot be simulated in practice. And those guys that get drafted early that don't have a lot of reps, or maybe only started 1 or 2 years in college, I do think they're at a disadvantage when they're first called on into the NFL.
The highlight we had with Marvin Harrison Jr. and John, you and I both know, if you're not making that move in your third or fourth year, especially if you're a first round, second or third round pick, they might start looking elsewhere. So what will be the next move or next improvement that Marv Jr. is going to have to make if they're going to feel that this pick that was a fourth pick overall is going to bring the kind of value they expected?
Yeah, it's just going to have to be consistency. He can't have an up and down year. He needs to be consistent. week in, week out. He needs to be successful on the field, and his success is going to lead to success for other guys on the team. I think if the quick passing game that LaFleur loves, and then opening it downfield with some of those longer throws, use his speed, use Wilson's speed, will open up the run game, and the run game opens up the pass game. And I think that's what good offenses do. They don't build an entire scheme around one guy or around the passing game only. But if Marvin Harrison can be successful when he's asked upon, when he's one-on-one on a backside route, when he's running to pull a safety deep so we can throw something underneath, I think that would be the next big step for him, is do it consistently, put up those 100-yard games twice in a row. And if you're not catching the ball, at least maybe you're dragging 4 or 5 defenders with you and then opening it up for your teammates in other passing lanes.
John Skelton joining us here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on ESPN Radio Phoenix. All right, John, I was a hell of a steady quarterback in as a kid. Nerf, telephone pole to telephone pole in South Jersey. I mean, I was always the quarterback, right? You two professionals, okay, whatever, played in the NFL, whatever. I'll go crazy.
No big deal.
Right. My question to you is, with all these different offensive coordinators all the time, how much different is the language from an offensive coordinator playbook to the next offensive coordinator playbook? Is it all the same, but just different terminology? How could, in layman's terms, how would you dumb that down for the guy that was really good throwing a Nerf football in high school?
He's got potential, John. He's got that potential.
Well, it's what does Al Pacino say in Any Given Sunday? Run down to the broken down car and turn around.
Exactly. Button hook. Yes, I got it.
You want me to do a button hook? Well, we don't call it a button hook. We call it a top route. We don't call it a top route. We call it a hook route. So at the end of the day, there's only so many ways you can skin a cat.
Yeah.
And it's the terminology might change. I think fewer and fewer teams are using like a numbered passing route. I think that's because of the complexity of offenses now. It's kind of changed. But, a 12-yard dig, a 12-yard in route, whatever you want to call it, it's the same thing. The schemes are a lot similar. And that's where, to bring the whole conversation full circle, that's where a good veteran quarterback, whether he's a starter or a backup, is the guy that can dumb it down for, you were at, Notre Dame. Well, Mr. Love, at Notre Dame, you guys probably called it this. We call it that. And then, now I get it. So it's that terminology. It just changes subtly from team to team or coach to coach.
I will say what wasn't subtle, how usually typically evens are right and odds are left, right, John? I get the Buffalo. Odds are right, evens are left. So my brain had to do a flip on a lot of that. 31 is now going left, is going right versus going left. I mean, those finer nuances, how a lot of these OCs put their own spin on stuff. To your point, after it's all said and done, I think what Roc is asking, is it kind of the same plane? It is, but there might be different adjustments here and there. But that going odd right, even left, that took a while in training camp to get that digested.
Yeah, I was going to say, how many times did you open up to your right to go hand it off and realize the running back's going the opposite way? That's probably the most helpless feeling you could have as a quarterback.
Oh, how hard could it be?
Oh, well,
come on, you guys.
When you're conditioned,
wow.
what was the biggest challenge for you, John? Especially that you were with the Cardinals, you went to Cincinnati. Even though everything's somewhat the same, was it just the vernacular, the call, or the length, or the adjustments?
Because you really didn't have to worry about the crowd noise, right? At either place.
Yeah.
For me, with the Cardinals, the legendary Hall of Fame offensive lineman Russ Grimm was our offensive line coach.
Yeah.
And that guy knew more football than I would ever forget.
Yeah.
But he never wrote anything down. He never really had an offensive blocking scheme playbook. It was just like, we're just going to swoop block it. Oh, well, is there a rule? Because the outside linebacker's on the line. Like, no, just call swoop. Okay, so everything was basically whatever Russ wants to do, that's what we're doing. But Russ never put it on paper. And even, Lyle Fendeline, my center, he would look at me and be like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. As long as we're on the same page, let's just run it. Like, okay, we'll just call it, we'll call it backside block or something. Like, okay. So a lot of that it wasn't printed anywhere. It wasn't written down. And then I go to Cincinnati and everything had a rule. Everything.
Yeah.
It was Gruden was our
Jay Gruden.
The John Gruden? Jay Gruden. Thank you. Jay Gruden was our offensive coordinator, and everything was written down. Everything had a rule. Everything had a rule, and because of this rule, it leads to this next rule. And it was hard for me to pick it up in that off season, and that's why I didn't last very long in Cincinnati.
Well, it was disciplined. I mean, that's some of the things people don't realize. I mean, sometimes I describe it, especially the rookie year, it's learning it in Chinese and then delivering it back in Greek. I mean, that's how complicated some of these things get. And it doesn't have to be that complicated, John. I'm telling you, right?
No, we had a great play. So we had a goal line play with the Cardinals, and it started out, I don't know, 4 words, right? 5 words. And then it got to the point where, like, hey, we should probably tag the tight end. Hey, we should probably tell Larry what he's doing backside. Hey, we should probably do this. So at the end, the play became fix right, strong, nasty, 74 scat, wide turn, X bison, special flat return. And I don't know that because I'm a genius or a savant. I know that because every week we just added one more person onto that. It's just like, we'll just tell every single person what they're doing on this play. And that's my favorite one to whip out every time I'm trying to explain to people how complicated a playbook is.
Well, you're that Fordham grad. They knew you could handle it, right?
No, I'm telling you, I'm not a savant. Like, I fooled them at Fordham just to get into school. There's no way if someone told me a similar play, I'd be able to call it right back to them like that.
John, always enjoy it, buddy. Hope you're having a good summer, and we'll get going here in football season in a few weeks. So thank you for making some time here in July.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Tell those guys at Wright Toyota I said hi, too.
They will. We will. Absolutely. That's John Skelton joining us, former Cardinals and Bengals quarterback, and, of course, Fordham University. And we had Mike Yam from the NFL Network, so we had 2 Fordham guys on here.
How about that?
That doesn't happen very often.
Barstow's moving up, Rock. 2 Fordham grads right there.
Yeah, Jesus, good stuff. All right, we got our Learner Row 1 call. That's all is next as we're coming to you live from Wright Toyota. It's Roc and Manuch with you today here on ESPN Radio Phoenix.
Let me remind you, Thursdays are where the weekend starts at Twin Peaks Restaurant. Grab an ice-cold Bud Light or a refreshing Michelob Ultra and catch wall-to-wall sports on massive TVs everywhere you look. Big games, cold beer, made from scratch food. Start your weekend early with Bud Light and Michelob Ultra. Thursdays at Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, and scenic views. Phoenix, if you need a plumber, call the team that does it the right way. Victory Plumbing Arizona. It's particular plumbing for particular people with upfront pricing before the work starts. So there's no surprises when the job's done. And here's a deal just for listeners. Tell them you heard Victory Plumbing on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, and they'll waive the service charge. For leaks, clogs, water heaters, or anything plumbing, book today at victoryplumbingarizona.com. ROC number 268603.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Rock for WrightToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Together we are stronger. Together we create hope. Together we are NAMI Walks. Join us for the 22nd annual NAMI Walks Valley of the Sun on October 10th, 2026, as Maricopa County comes together for one powerful purpose: mental health for all. Have you registered yet? Visit NAMIVOS.org. That's NAMIVOS.org. And join our walk today, because together we can make a difference.
Across the country, opioid overdose deaths are going down. But in Arizona, they're rising. And it's not just opioids. Deaths linked to meth, cocaine, and kratom are increasing too. This is a crisis, but it's one we can change. Honest conversations about drug risks can save lives. Be part of the solution. Visit talknowaz.com for tools and resources. Sponsored by the Substance Awareness Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
What's really unique about the Cardinals quarterback competition, you threw Beck's name into the mix, but circling back on Brissett and Minshew, these are two guys who probably feel like, hey, like if I'm given an opportunity, I can have some success. Brissett's had some of those moments. Gardner Minshew's had some of those moments. So I think both of those guys, in a lot of ways, are going to take this competition so serious. They always are. But I think both of them realize just how important this is, because this is an opportunity to come out of the gates as a starting quarterback this upcoming season. And who knows? Like, I don't think that the Cardinals look at that roster and say, hey, we're completely devoid of talent.
That's Mike Yam, NFL Network, talking about the Cardinals competition. Of course, it's going to be the storyline for quite some time. Our one call, that's all, is brought to you by Lerner & Rowe. If you've been injured in an accident, don't try to handle it on your own. Lerner & Rowe has been voted Arizona's best personal injury law firm year after year. In a wreck, need a check, make one call, that's all. You know the phone number, 602-977-1900, and always online at lernerrowe.com. All right, D-backs pregame will get underway at 6:30 on the Mothership, 98.7, with first pitch at 7:10. Tomorrow, 6:10 first pitch. We will have tomorrow here on ESPN Radio at 6:20. We'll have Brewers and Pirates at 12:30. And then on Sunday, afternoon baseball with D-backs and Dodgers at 1:10 p.m. But your World Cup viewing guide, today Spain beat Belgium 2-1. And that was in Los Angeles. Tomorrow, we got a doubleheader. We got Norway and England that will kick off at 2 o'clock out in Miami. And then Argentina, Switzerland at 6 o'clock out of Kansas City. Both are on Fox 10. And then the semifinals are Tuesday, the 14th, noon out of Dallas, France against Spain. And then winner, of course, of the two I mentioned, that will be on Wednesday, the 15th at noon out of Atlanta. So the third place game will be Saturday, the 18th at 2 o'clock out of Miami. And then the final next Sunday, noon from MetLife or New Jersey, New York Stadium, all on Fox, all in Spanish as well on Telemundo, streaming on Fox 1 and the Peacock.
Glad you clarified that, Roc.
No, it's the cock. That's what they're calling you now.
They call it the cock.
It's just called the cock.
Wow, okay. I mean,
somebody told me that the other day, and I'm like, you got the Gamecocks, you got the,
sure.
In Carolina, and the Peacock, so they're just calling it the cock.
Did the FCC clear that one?
It's what it is.
Yeah.
It's the Peacock.
Hey, by the way, if you're tuning in late, Ohtani will not pitch against Erod tonight. The Diamondbacks, Dodgers, and Kyle Hurt has been placed in there as the I don't know if he'll be the opener or the starter. It's just weird how this opener, and if they go 2 innings and you pull the other guy.
I don't understand that either.
I don't either.
It's never done it.
It's kind of a thing, but Kyle Hurt's going to be on the bump versus Ohtani.
So what's on tap, which is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light's the official partner of Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B at all 5 Valley locations for, of course, the World Cup, and where they're on Thursdays. Twin Peaks eats drinks and scenic views. You can check it out as they do during all the World Cup. They do have Michelob Ultra special. So, of course, Michelob Ultra and Bud Light and the Busch Light Aluminum is all part of the Bud family. So go check it out. Twin Peaks, again, eats drinks and scenic views.
Roc, Mike Yam talking about the Cardinals aren't devoid of talent. They really aren't. I mean, we hit this little bit in the couple segments ago with Jeremiah Love and Marv Jr. and then Michael Wilson, Kendrick Bourne, Trey McBride, who's everybody feels one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends in the the entire National Football League. And obviously the line play will come into play from the standpoint of giving protection, whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Gardner Minshew. and then the defense as far as stopping people. But having a running game, you've got talent, at least on paper, right? But I think if Jacoby Brissett can get everything settled, be the guy to try to get this talent engaged, especially with Jeremiah Love, we'll really see an added improvement to the offense that we saw last year. And then the defense, again, it's just a question mark, but it looks like everybody's healthy. They said this is one of the more healthier teams that has come in from the defensive perspective in many, many years. So I think Mike LaFleur, clean slate. Here's the team you're going with. Let's develop these guys. But I would have no problem. I'd have no problem. We probably won't do this. If Carson Beck was named the starter, let's go with it. Let's teach this young guy. He's got weapons. They've got protection around him that they can get away with it. But if you had a bunch of rookies on the offensive side and him starting, let's say offensive lineman, I wouldn't do it. But I mean, if it's he's been there studying, he's doing his thing. It's like Bo Nix. I'm going to take it a couple of games before they put Bo Nix in there. Thinking of Ben Roethlisberger, with 5 or 6 games, Tommy Maddox got hurt. They throw him in. I think guys nowadays, young quarterbacks that come in now that have played a lot of football, are a little older because they've been there 5 or 6 years, can handle a lot of what's there. Now, it would probably take him 2 or 3 games, but if you've got a running game and you give them enough offense to get by and be successful, they may not win the games. I'm not saying that, but you can start allowing him to grow and develop 5, 6, 7 games in. Then now all of a sudden you understand whether you've got your guy or not. So I'd have no heartburn whatsoever if they played the young guy, Carson Beck. Played a lot of football.
I wouldn't either. I mean, but I don't want them going down this road where they're going to try to get the number 1 pick and they're going to, go after another quarterback after you waste all this time with Carson Beck, who could arguably, I think we would have said over the years that he was going to be a first-round pick.
Yeah, he was. And I think that
if he lights it up and then you do still play, 4 or 5 games that you win, that's it.
As long as you're seeing progress the way you want to see –